The more you try to keep me down and keep my head above the water, you can never hold me down. The more you try to block me out, that's where I kick the wall down. You can never hold me back. The more you try to put me out, the more I'll be blazing, it's too hot. The more you try to put me in the dirt, increase my work, the expert. You see the hunger in the eyes of a survivor. Swallowed my pride, washed down with some saliva. Reinvented my whole life, mental MacGyver. One door shut, another open up, wider. Listen, battle drums in the distance.
Hey everybody, welcome to Pinecase Podcast, the podcast where drugs, no, not drugs. Music is our drug of choice. We've been there and done that a long time ago, but lately the music has definitely been the thing. So that is what we are doing tonight. That's what we're promoting. And we get to hang out with some amazing people all the time. And tonight is absolutely no exception. AJ Howse from PureEvil Podcast, who also drums for All Was Lost, who's all around decent human being and has been here before and talked about us about, practicing positivity and how that affects the people around you. So with an absolutely massive Pinecase warm welcome. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's absolutely my pleasure. AJ, my guy, what is going on? I was like, okay, wait a second. This is like kind of a serious pre-show meeting. It's winter time. It's flipping Alberta. Trying to navigate what's happening kind of in the music industry right now. Not that it's a big thing, but it's never really seemed to be in the favor of the musicians. I'm curious to know what you got on your plate lately and what's happening.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks again for having me. It's an honor to be on your platform, and you get to share so many different stories with people, and I'm just glad that one of mine can be, second one of mine now can be shared again. So thanks. It's been fun. Really slow musically. It kind of always seems to slow down for me in the wintertime. But still always keeping busy doing something. I've been doing a lot more photography as of lately.
Beautiful.
And trying to get on the whole algorithm for TikTok and Instagram for my drum videos and that.
Okay.
And now I might try Facebook for the monetized thing and see if I can make some coin at that. But I mostly want to focus on Instagram, especially because I link so much of my stuff through Instagram, like my photography and my drum covers and my personal life. So. Still doing good old snow removal. December was insane. I think we had a total of 4 days off, maybe. Christmas break, New Year's, which is end of December, so technically the next month. But yeah, New Year's, Christmas, and then we had 1 day on the weekend off prior. And it was just, I don't know if you remember, you probably do, but I don't know how Calgary was either, or any other parts of Alberta, but Edmonton was getting freaking hammered with snow every day. It was brutal. It was a lot. It's nice that it's kind of slowed down. It's kind of like a almost polar opposite effect of what we're having right now. February is usually a cold month, and I don't want to speak too soon because it just started, but
yeah, don't jinx us, please.
No, I'm knocking on wood right now, but 7 degrees outside,
I know.
That's insane. That's insane to me. So it is nice for the break, but no work also means that things slow down. I don't get as much money, and winter's always the hardest to navigate because in the summer we work Monday to Friday, and it's steady with just either grass cutting or doing bylaws, which is just its own thing, and there's always steady work. There's not really anything not to do. But in the winter, if it doesn't snow, I'm not salary, I'm hourly, so I require snow to work. And if there's no snow, it's they get us swapping out garbage cans at commercial sites, taking our pictures for insurance reasons, just to clear sidewalks and that's about it. We try to get our hours back at the shop doing small work, but it's tough. It's been a little bit tough recently. So but I don't know. We make it work. And December was just the polar opposite. Like I said, it was too much. I was just all work and no play makes AJ a dull boy.
Yeah.
Just require a little bit of time off in my personal life, especially since I do music and a lot more photography on the side. So yeah, but
The story, I'm not a musician, but this is the most familiar story to the industry. And I guess that's what I was like hinting at when I'm like, the industry hasn't changed. It still hasn't respectfully, you know, adorned our artists the way that it should be. So that way everybody isn't, having 2 gigs or 3 gigs outside of gigging, right? It's like how, and then like I'm not far from you. And so when that snow started coming in, like not to talk about the weather or whatever, but we like, because we rely on it, like it is a commodity, right? You're saying like literally it pays your way. And for me, like it's a bit of the opposite because I'm outside with horses. And so for me, it's like, I'm like, okay, I could do a little bit without it, but it's really crazy to navigate. And I'm like obsessed with like the almanac and stuff because of having to be outside so much. And so it's wild because, okay, so I guess what I'm trying to say is like, first of all, thank you, for coming on here and just like talking about the real stuff, because that's really the stuff that actually matters. But the story remains the same. And I don't know why we haven't figured out a way to really like pay our dues to the artists that are out there. You do music and photography, and like we need that industry to like balance out a little bit, because if you don't have downtime or if you don't have time to like check in on yourself, how the hell are you how are we supposed to do this? Like, honestly. And I don't mean it to be like, oh, we're on a show. I mean, honestly, like how are we supposed to do this, man? It's exhausting. Like, it's exhausting.
yeah, and I mean, everyone has their own battles they're dealing with too. We got to make sure that we're paying bills. We got to make sure that we're covering our own butts and just making sure that we're able to be happy at the same time. And
Yeah.
yeah, I always just try to preach for like finding happiness but still making money, and like finding that middle point. Like I really am a firm believer that money is not going to make you happy. Like, you obviously require it and you need it, but having hobbies and doing the things that you love outside of work is so crucial, so important, because I see it every day. Like, I see people who are just doing nothing with their lives, and it's utterly depressing, and I'm not no golden star worker. I work hard, I go to my job, I do what I gotta do, but I'm not like trying to be the next manager. You know what I mean? I have goals outside of this place. I have goals. I have dreams. I aspire to be the best musician that I can be, and the best version of myself that I can be. And I'm going to slip up. I slip up often, not just in drumming, just in life in general. And I am a firm believer that if you want to get better and you put your heart into it, and you're looking for the way to go, and you don't know where to go, just believe. Take that breath. At first, that like big inhale, exhale is like the first step, and then just thankful for the fact that you have ground to walk on, and you've got your hands, and you've got your legs, and you've got your everything. Like, I don't know, it's so important to be thankful for what you have, but also look to what you can have. And I really just want to be doing more than just removing snow. I really want to just be like touring and making music. And I was fortunate enough to go on tour last June with the boys and All Was Lost, and that was almost 3 weeks of just countless shows, and it was amazing. Before that, I hadn't toured since 2019. I did a cross Canada tour with a band as a fill-in. And yeah, to do it with your own group is like the best, like getting to learn things and meet new people in a new band is cool and exciting too. But I feel like it's more rewarding when it's with your boys or your girls or whatever, like whoever you're mingling with. It doesn't matter. Like,
your people, man.
Yeah, your family, your brotherhood, like whatever the case might be. It's so important, and it's so I don't know, it was eye-opening this time, because a lot of these places some of my bandmates have never played before, or even been to in their life, and just seeing their reaction to the new atmosphere and surroundings, and then going on stage and just like, I don't know, it's very fulfilling to me. And it's not the level I want to be at yet, but it's getting there, and it's just so incredible. I'm just so so fortunate, so lucky to live the life that I do. And yeah, I'm just blessed by great people and great and good times. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about that tour a little bit because we all got to enjoy it with you guys via social media. You were able to bring us in on a lot of those situations. We've seen you guys dealing with the car thing, and it's funny because that's one of the positive things that I really enjoy about it. It's like, okay, social media, but we also get to be part of like it's like a permanent backstage pass almost, right? And so yeah, take us on the tour a little bit with you.
Yeah. So the car issue is always my favorite story to like think about and talk about because it was the worst but still the best, you know, like we were still able to make the most of it. So at that time we were stranded outside of Grenfell, like this small ass town at the edge of Saskatchewan on the way to Manitoba.
Mhm.
And yeah, I don't know, it was just the first night was like kind of eye-opening because I think we knew we were going to be there longer than what we thought and were hoping. You know, we were trying to get maneuvered. We were trying to make that show happen that same night because unfortunately it didn't land on a day that we had off. Actually, the next day was the day that we had off.
Oh,
But
okay.
we were headed to Winnipeg, and so you hear about it all the time, especially with big bands. Like shit happens, you either get snowed out or you have a vehicle breakdown or someone stole or lost gear, you know, like it happens all the time. So not that we were prepared for it, but like I think we had all of us had a good head on our shoulders when coming and dealing with it in our own ways, but you know, in a positive manner, because one guy's whipping out the acoustic guitar, the other guy's singing, you know, and we had some people stop by and say hi and check on us. And, you know, for me, I'm from a small town. So it's being stuck in another small town like that. It sucks. It sucks so bad. But it's like, it's humbling to see how many good people exist out there, you know, where the news and media always shows us like the bullshit, you know, it always shows us so much bad stuff about both sides of the spectrum, you know, and it's like,
Mm.
oh, I can't stand personally that politics get in between music because I just like, for me, it's my outlet to escape reality, you know, music is that escape. And I know I'm kind of getting off the topic of the original question and the story
No,
about
no,
breaking
no.
down, but
It's fine. Like, let's hold on a second here because there's like the argument that like, oh, music is the art of storytelling and it's how we've told current events for like thousands of years and yada yada yada. But I think that it's fair to say that sometimes. I think that sometimes those like platforms or bands or whatever can be taken advantage of to push somebody's agenda too, right? It's like I don't know. Like, I guess, well, I don't, maybe that's not even like the angle you were going with, because there is the other piece of it, which is that, like, sometimes it keeps us in our own country or prevents us from, doing this show or that show because, so and so or whatever, or this isn't a friendly space or whatever. Right. And so it's funny because it's used to talk about current events or past or history or whatever and keep a conversation going. But it often also, like, yeah, it can like seed itself in there where it doesn't belong. It doesn't belong in music in the sense that it shouldn't be affecting anybody, in that way.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
maybe it should. I don't know.
I know. Who are we to say really at
Yeah.
the end of the day?
Yeah,
I just know
totally.
from my own reasons and beliefs and values, it's cool to hear that some bands are representing like their own side of things and they want to stand up for what they believe in and that. But
Mhm.
for me personally, I've never used music as an outlet for that. It's always been an outlet for escaping escaping the reality. And we shouldn't ignore what's going on, obviously, but like, I think there's different ways of coming about it, you know, because I feel like then when you get politics involved with music, then you're causing a divide because not everyone's gonna freaking agree on things, and that's fine. That
Mhm.
should be something that we all note too. Is that like if we don't all see eye to eye on certain things, as long as we can be like listening to one another and not rude about things and kind of
Yeah.
like it kind of goes back to the teamwork thing. Like I'm wearing like the All Was Lost jersey
Of
right
course.
now, and like
Yeah.
again, small town stuff. I grew up like playing sports, so like being on teams. Like I feel like more people need stuff like that because even in politics, it gets lost. we get lost in this whole, oh, this side said this thing, so the other side saying this thing. Where's the, okay, I hear your side of things. Let's I like this, but maybe we can navigate around the other thing and try and make this work, And I don't know, I just feel like we've just been lied to our whole lives, because it's like we're looking at the thing at just like the glass half full. Where's the glass can be full. It's just perspective. It's just on how we're willing to engage with one another when it comes to topics and things that are important to us and important to other people, rather. So I don't know, like
well, and how much freaking liquid do you need? Like, maybe you only need half a glass.
Yeah, or that, yeah,
like,
yeah,
like, how dehydrated are you? Maybe get another cup. Like, I don't know. Like,
or share if you have a freaking full glass and somebody doesn't, like
totally.
So yeah, I don't know. Where I was going with this is just the people stopping by and like offering help and checking in on us was like so nice. So I don't know the finger to point in the right direction for the word I need right now, but it's just, when you like watch a good movie and it makes you feel so good at the end. Yeah, it's like that feeling, but in reality, like I don't know, I'm a cheesy freaking guy, but I love that people can come together and unite for good things, and I just wish that side of things would be more noticed, because like that was the highlight of the tour, was just people showing support. We had people come through and send us money to help with like the part that we needed and the install, and we were having a time. Let me tell you, we lost a part. Our tire was going low. We needed a new freaking tire, and we needed to pump up the tire every stop we had, because it was getting low. And oh my God, it was just so like the journey, the troubles weren't just done after that. Like it's all, social media only shows so much of what we're willing to show and share with you. You know what I mean? But we're not showing the rough times, or we're not showing like, oh, look at the tire that's like about to implode. You know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, we lost or a part like stopped working or whatever, and we're stranded, but like it's not just that. We've got little to no money, we got little to no food, there's no grocery store here. This is like a town of 500 people. Like, I think we went and bought for the night we were there. We were just like, well, let's go have a good time. Like I said, with the acoustic guitar and the people coming out and us singing, we went and bought off sales at the restaurant that was like at the gas station that we were like a kilometer away from. You know what I mean? Like we walked over, just went and got some off sale alcohol and booze and liquor, and yeah, just had a good time. And I wouldn't change it for the world. Like, obviously, I wanted to be there for the Winnipeg show, and I still think we got to make it up for Winnipeg, and we will. I promise you. If anyone from Winnipeg is paying attention, or like friends and family that I had that was going to go out to that particular show, like it is in our plans to get out that way eventually. It's just like I said, winter is a slow season. It I don't know if it's just what I see, and every time it comes around, because of what I do in particular, it just slows. It seems to slow down musically for me. But I think for a lot of people it does. It's, what can you do in the winter? Like, I know a band that toured in February and actually didn't do too bad, but like it was, for local stuff, it was the only thing I've ever heard of, like a band doing it in like mid-February. But
yeah, it's weird that we don't set ourselves up for success going into the winter with that kind of stuff. Like, although I have heard some like rumbles in the jungle lately about people like thinking about doing a festival that time of the year. But anyways, like, I don't want to talk too much about that. But maybe that's the $1 million idea too. Like, maybe there is a way to like navigate like not only the winter blues, but also like the music scene issues that we seem to have in the winter time by like touring. It's tougher though, right? Like, it's not, I mean, breaking down in the middle of winter is not the same as breaking down in the middle of summer, although maybe you get a couple more people. I don't know, it's so tough to say, but the feeling that you get when you are in those situations is like, that's the best. And if we could capitalize on that situation, that feeling, and like put that feeling in a cup, we actually would probably be a half decent society. Sorry, I just went like 3 different places there, but I don't want to like let go of that one part of the conversation, because that small town feeling is what like we need to utilize to get all the rest of the other pieces moving, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's like, if we can have one person fix the tire and one person bring the part and one person pay for the part, and grab your off sales or whatever. Like that's kind of the guideline to life. Like if we could all do that all the time for each other, like that's the key. Like that's how we support each other and help each other and then feel good coming out of it. But yeah, I don't know, we should come up with some sort of system that like starts highlighting bands in the wintertime in a better way. I just don't feel like that. I used to go in Edmonton on White Avenue in the middle of winter with like high heel shoes on and be like tiptoeing across the road, like trying to get over to like Hudson or whatever. And there would be like live music from like one end to the other. And you could go from like one place to another place to another place to another place. And right now it feels like if you don't go to the one of two places, especially for Edmonton, then you're kind of out,
Yeah, totally. And I mean, I still live like close to White Ave here, so like yeah, I totally understand that. Hearing the Hudson's reference is awesome because yeah, I love that place. But yeah,
dude, but that's the thing though, like I don't want to sit here and complain because you just talked about so much beauty, but it's like what happened to like the nights where you could actually afford to be out in those spaces? And not to bring this about politics, this is really not about the economy, it's not really about money, it's just like where is the mental economy to be able to go and do those things? Like when I talk to people, they're like, oh yeah, no, like if that's not on my calendar like 3 months in advance, then there's just no way that I'm going. Like it just doesn't feel as spontaneous. And maybe that's the piece that we're missing in the winter, is that it's like people aren't as spontaneous in the winter as they are when it's warmer out, right?
yeah, that's true. I mean, I feel like that adventure side of people especially from the colder provinces, they really want to like do stuff, but what are you going to go out and do when it's like -30 for like a week straight? Like I don't know, I have seen a ton of people go to those shows still and attend events. They're going regardless, especially if they put money forward. But yeah, it's harder in the winter, but it still can be done. Like I said, the band that I remember doing it, they toured, I think it was either February 2018 or February 2019, and maybe even 2020. It might have been just right before COVID got really bad. But yeah, just incredible stuff to see somebody like actually try and do that. I would never really want to do something like that unless we were going somewhere warm. But yeah, winter is its own chaotic battle, as we're all aware of. So,
but wait, but like, why not though? Like, what is it? Is it like carrying the gear outside? Like, what is it that puts those blockers up for us? Like, what is it that's happening in the winter?
I think it's what you said earlier. I think it's like
Yeah.
you kind of know you're gonna break down. So heaven
Yeah.
forbid you break down the side of the highway and it's -30 out. Like,
Yeah.
that is brutal. I would hate to see somebody freeze to death. That's so brutal. Oh my God.
Freeze to death trying to see a show. I mean, this seems extreme, but like where we are right now, like it was literally -40, like not even that long ago. And it's wild that we're actually still talking about the weather because it's the flipping weather, but it literally dictates like everything that happens near me. I don't even know how to operate anymore. I'm like, oh, you got to bring the wood up to the house. Like, wait a second, before everybody gets tucked in tonight, like, have you plugged in your cars? Did you bring up the wood? Like, my gosh, right? Like, how many jugs of milk do we have? Like, is the deep freezer full? Like, that's like my biggest fear in life right now, is like if my deep freezer accidentally got unplugged or something like that. Like, you have to like prepare so much. And I'm not even that far out of town, but it's like it comes the same way every freaking year, and it just changes everything. I can't go outside and go and garden. I can't go and like go for a walk to the store. Everything we're on this weird schedule, and that is all based around the freaking gas. And it's like, I don't want to drive my car maybe today. And even that's a freaking privilege in life. Honestly, having a car is such a privilege. I like it, but it's like, geez, wouldn't it be nice to be outside with the tunes going and listening to the kids like hang out and yada, 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 And I don't complain that much, but it is definitely something that I think needs to be looked at in a more serious way. As an adult, I'm like, I need to start setting myself up for success going into these months, because not only is like seasonal depression really a thing, but it's also trying to navigate all these freaking elements that are real, tangible roadblocks that are in the way. I mean, you break down now, there's a no toe ban on, like you're not going anywhere, you're sitting there. That's what's
100%,
happening.
100%. And yeah, like just dealing with there's other stuff too. Like you're going to be around people who are going to be underslept, overworked in a way. Like
Hmm.
yeah, loading in gear, playing shows constantly, staying up late, driving on the road, sleeping in a vehicle or a van or a car, like whatever you're in. It's hard. Like it's harder than people like because everyone's just like, how is like the dream? How is tour? How it's like it's fun, no, like, but it's work. I'm still working. Like I never. It seems like I never seem to stop. I have so many people in my life that they tell me just like you should just do you ever stop? I'm like, no, I feel like if I stop, I'm like a Duracell battery. I'll just go to rest. I won't get
You're
back up
just
again.
gonna crash right out. Just gonna crash. Well, I mean, right now you look like you've actually been in like a tropical climate for a while. Like you can see like the beautiful like wind kissed like I mean, obviously snow removal is no joke, you know? Like it's
Yeah.
no joke because being outside, I mean, I'm outside for like a couple hours a day and when I get home, I'm always like, "Oh, I'm going to do my homework after I get home from the horses." Like that's a joke because as soon as I get inside, I'm done. Like there isn't anything left, you know. And I'm like eating salad, eating, protein, doing all this stuff, like getting in my vitamins and minerals and I'm still just like don't talk to me for like 3 hours, please,
Yeah.
cuz I'm totally
Yeah,
wiped
and I
out.
mean, I feel like, well, so you're out there with, like you were saying, like you got horses and that, and it sounds like you're still kind of outdoorsy. Like I was raised
Mhm.
on an acreage too, so we had horses, we had dogs, like, and I've always I've always worked outdoors, and I've always just been outdoors. Like I love skating. I go skating at like 10 o'clock at night. Like
That's awesome.
nothing's really gonna stop me from like skating. I like skating was my first love before music, and it just turns out I just wasn't a sharp shooter, sharp skater, or
Mhm.
had the money to like go into hockey because I was kind of a late bloomer on that. I think we talked about that
Yep.
my first time, but yeah, it's still up there. Like it's still something I'm able to do and enjoy, very much so. And I'm not really much of a indoor skate kind of guy. Like I love being outdoors, so I'm always just outdoors in the winter and it's always so dark and it's always just so gloomy, but like there is a beauty. We're talking about the negative here, but there is a beauty to the
Mhm.
winter that I think I kind of prefer. Like it's my a break away from music and it's like my hockey time. Like I get to go skating often and shoot a puck around and like wear my jersey more. Like I don't know. I thoroughly love the winter. I don't like working every day. That's the only thing is if it snows a lot, like it becomes brutal. I don't want to woe is me here like, "Oh my
No,
god,
no,
like I
no,
signed up
no.
for it. This is the territory I'm in. I signed up for snow removal. Nobody put a gun to my head and said you have to do this." I was like, "I
Mhm.
have to pay bills, but I don't want to work a crazy brain job, so I'm going to work a physically demanding job." And yeah, this is the field I'm in. This is what I do, and yeah, like I said, it pays bills. It helps me. They're really good for letting me take time off. Like I needed 3 weeks off to do that tour and to make it happen, and I gave them like 2 months notice, and there was no hesitation. There was no, well, can we take a day or two off that? Like, could you imagine? Like I always stress about that stuff like in other jobs, but like this job is like as long as you give them enough like notice, they're actually pretty lenient. So yeah, can't complain too much. But that tour was just incredible, and I'm looking forward to, as I mentioned earlier, to the next one this year. On a quick note, we are not doing as many shows, but we'll be doing like festivals. Like we got a few festivals lined up, and I don't want to reveal too many that
No,
we're
no.
playing.
No, you
But
don't have to reveal the festival thing. I totally understand. That's fine.
yeah, and then music in the background. We're working on a lot of music. So we got stuff we're doing. It's just not going to be as like showsy as like last year was. Like last year was our like, okay, we released an EP. Okay, now we're going on tour. Okay, now we're just going to chill a bit this year. Try and get our finances together, try and get our minds collective and um yeah, it's
So All Is Lost is the only like your only drumming for All Was Lost. Like that's what's happening right now in music for you?
That's correct. Yeah. I have gone through a little bit of changes in the last year, if you
Mhm.
will, and so I stepped down from drumming for With Conviction. I told them if they have a show and they have no one else to do it, I will do it for them. to me, that's family. They're always going to be really important to me. I still hang out with the guys outside of, band stuff. So
Yeah.
they're family. They're number one. I love them. But yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. And then with my boy Dion, I don't know. I just feel like luck's kind of been against his side right now. He's just gone through so many member changes, and right now it's just me and him. And as far as I'm aware, like we got nothing lined up in the near future, so we're just kind
Hmm.
of chilling on that. I feel like when something's ready, I'll be obviously ready to go and perform with him. I love Dion. But yeah, so far it's just been prioritizing All Was Lost, and even with a Pure Evil, like I'm not really even doing the podcasting anymore. Like to be doing this, like I was kind of like I was almost skeptical because I really cherish having time and chats with you and getting this all set up from Calico. That's incredible, amazing, and I'm grateful for it. But that being said, I've really taken a step back from that stuff, and it's just because I got so busy and overwhelmed and burnt out, and I don't know how to navigate back to it. So I don't know. This is kind of inspiring. Maybe I'll get back to doing a PureEvil podcasts. But for the meantime, a PureEvil is just mainly focusing on photography because, uh, yeah, I love shooting. I love taking photos of people, and it's a bonus to have a side hustle and get paid for it. So, you know, um, yeah, that's kind of been more of the focus for me this year is just my photography and All Was Lost.
It's wild because no one really talks about what that feels like. Because I mean, passion projects are supposed to be that, right? And music is a lot of that. Photography, the same thing. Podcast, and it's the same thing. And obviously, we all want to make like a couple of bucks doing it, but they're most of it's a labor of love, right? Um, but nobody really talks about the other piece, which is like trying to navigate all of those things together. Because with all of those things brings all this beautiful energy, and maybe not always so beautiful energy, but it brings people and it brings things and it brings stuff and it brings like expectations and it brings calendars, and like it's something that I'm almost finding tricky at this point because I'm like, okay, we need to be able to offer the community something, but then we also need to keep the standard up here, and then I also want to do all these things correctly, right? Like I don't want to cut any corners anywhere because it you know it's important, but then how do you do that? And there's all this amazing things that happen when people are like, oh, how do I get involved or how do I do this? And I would obviously, like, I'm not talking negatively about any of that, but you get enough of good in any situation and it's like, oh no, okay, wait, hold on, like, hold on before this whole thing like kabooms, how do I sort this out? And it's really impressive that you're able to be like, okay, I can kind of like shelf some of this stuff and like, hone in on like one or two things and like do those things for yourself, because not everybody, man, when I'm telling you, it's like driving a car down it's like it's like a freeway with too many on and off ramps or something. It's like, okay, like I know where the destination is. I know the quickest way is there, but every other sign is like, oh, detour, quick route, sneak peek. But it's just like, I know from A to B, I just got to go straight. But, it can be distracting. People can be distracting things and events and expectations can be super distracting. And like, it's hard not to, I know I'm talking about me here, but it's just like, it's hard not to kind of follow them all sometimes. And so yeah, it's neat that you're able to be like, okay, I'm going to do these couple of things and I'm going to do them for me. It sounds like you're doing them for yourself and not for everybody else.
Trying to take that step. I feel like
Hmm.
I just, yeah, as I mentioned, got burned out, and I just, especially for podcasting, I haven't been able to find the not only the drive but the whereabouts to get going again. Like, okay, how do I like start up just randomly again? It's been over a year, almost going on two now, and where do I go to just start? I guess I kind of get in my own head about that, and just like I don't want to make a disastrous thing. I've had so much support and so many good things said about it, and I was just having a great time. Actually, funny enough, my last episode was with Leslie, and we were going off about Decimate Metal Fest, and
Hmm.
yeah, and I haven't been able to get back to that. So I did get I got somebody reached out to me rather, and they wanted to come on in October, and I feel bad because I kind of agreed to it, but just didn't get back to them being like, okay, this is a for sure thing. I was like, yeah, we could probably make this happen. Let me just see like how October looks, and then I just like everybody just got busy, tied up, and yeah, I really want to try and if it's something that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this again. I want to do it, and I want to just keep going at it and find a nice healthy balance where I'm not getting burnt out again from it, And like your platform's really neat. I like the way you do it and the setup you have. I don't do it this way, and I've considered doing it this way just for practical use.
Mm-hmm.
It seems convenient. But now that we kind of tiptoed around it a little bit, but like monetizing your content, whatever platform you're going to use it on, Twitch, Facebook, whatever. It's nice that is out there and you can kind of make something back at it. And that's the thing I think people need to take into consideration too when getting brought onto these platforms. Like you're probably making a little bit of money at it, but I never made any money doing the PureEvil presents, an hour at the house. Like I wasn't making any money at that, and that's fine. Like it's cool to have something that like helps other people. But yeah, as you mentioned, I'm just trying to like kind of do me and just kind of have my own life going the way I want it to go. And
Mm-hmm.
so many years of just not doing that. Just so many years of just not necessarily getting stepped on, but just being like almost too nice, almost too giving. And it's just finding that healthy balance of where you can give, but where you can also learn to, okay, I can't today, and expressing that in communication and everything. Like it's so important. And I'm learning that in my relationships. I'm learning that in my life. I'm learning that at my job. I'm learning that in my band. It all kind of ties into one another. And yeah, I just want a certain thing, as I mentioned, I just want to tour. I just want to tour the world. And my idea of touring the world is like going to like Australia or going to like, I don't know, somewhere in Sweden, somewhere no one really touches down too often, like in the scene. Somewhere a
Oh
little.
no. No.
I
Yeah.
don't, not that in like in the local scene. I don't think that there's too many bands. Maybe I'm not paying attention, but like just somewhere that'd be a little different. Like Australia is
Mm-hmm.
obviously a popular one, but like
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know,
Europe
somewhere
would be
that
cool
like
too, though. Like Europe knows what's good. They've always known what was good in the music scene, and they like we need to be more like Europe when it comes to like celebrating our artists. Like not even on like grand stages. Like I don't, it's almost like they treat everybody like they're worth what they're actually worth. And you see, like, even, I mean, like my dad goes to Europe, you know what I mean? All of the bands over there, like they all go to Europe and they have this like big tour feel to it when they come back. And it's like maybe it's just like pubs and clubs and whatever, but it's just easier to get other people to jump on board, and promoters are around to talk to, and it's not, the promoter isn't the same dude that owns the bar, like that thing, because that's getting old. Like, no offense to anybody, I'm not like throwing shade at anyone, but it's just like the the intention is different, right? Like, where are all the old school promoters, and why is there, because when you have people that own the space, their goal is alcohol consumption, it's not highlighting music. And so anyways, I think Europe is got a little bit more dialed in than what we do. But yeah, Europe, Australia, South America would be amazing. Like, I have a buddy who just came back from doing that, and he was just like, oh my god, like I'm a god over there. And I'm like, yeah, so you should be, like that's what it's supposed to feel like. You have this skill and this talent, which you have, like you have a skill and a talent, and it should be treated as such. Like, so yeah, I obviously like all the good vibes in your direction, but I genuinely like hope that that's like the feeling that is near you all the time. You and all the artists that come and sit here, it's a big deal to me. It's a really big deal to me. Numbers are great, and filling a stadium is great, and selling merch is great, but at the end of the day, like, it's really just about like what you do for yourself for the audience, and then in turn what happens back, right? It's like you have this skill that creates this like beautiful thing that we all get to enjoy, and you should be like, it should be that alone should be economical. Like that alone should compensate. You guys do this thing. You should be compensated for that. And it frustrates me to sit over here and be like, yeah, like we talked about you having this job, and it's, you can't be an artist anymore without having like another gig. But I just, yeah, I hope we get to a place in society where that's not the thing. Like, oh, your only thing is to do the art piece, and then we get to like respect you, in turn for it. Like that's what it should be.
Totally. And I still in a way kind of try to overwork my like passions and joys. Like I'm really pushing to try and do like the next All Was Lost photo shoot, and I'm lucky because like with bands, like if Ember needs like a shoot with her band and like they're on the road, they're playing a show or whatever, I'll go shoot for them. Or if I need to go shoot for any other project that well, I guess like Nathan's still in With Conviction and that, but like I don't know, like if Clay used to be in Monk, and I used to shoot for their shows and that, not all the time, but the odd show here and there. It's just nice getting that work outside but still inside the music scene, and like I don't know, I like the fact that I can utilize those skills in and out of like music, and it's so important. But yeah,
I
actually,
feel the same way. Like that's how I feel about the podcast. Like, because I'm not on stage, but I do have this thing that I get to do that's near it, right? I still get to enjoy all the energy and the love and the space and the the camaraderie and the fuckery and all the crazy shit that comes along with being in those spaces. But I get to like participate and observe without like, I don't know, I guess like that commitment piece. Pardon my language, but it's like that commitment piece. I don't have that commitment because I get to like show up and take off at my own free will, But hold on, I'm gonna bug you a little bit here, because it's like you gotta like, I'm done being a yes person, and I'm not going to be pushy with you, but I'm going to say that you don't owe anybody an explanation for anything. And when you become a yes person, it's our own fault. It's your own fault. You know what I'm saying? It's your own fault. And you're allowed to be like, nope, no, thank you. Yeah. No, thanks. Absolutely not. See you later. Catch you later. Bye. Whatever. Because not everybody needs all of us all the time. They just don't. They don't. And even if we think that that's what is necessary, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. A wise person once told me, you're just not that special. And I was like, yes, I fucking am. and they're like, but you're not. And it like really rocked my too, because I was like, who the fuck is this guy? But I thought about it and I was like, okay, wait a second. What you mean is that like, I think that people are going to notice if I don't do these things, when really like they're just going to find other people to do those things or find other ways to do those things. And then they're going to come back to me when the time is right anyways. And it's not actually like a live or die situation. Like I'm allowed to not be a yes person.
Yeah, 100%. And like, I feel like once we find out that nice happy medium with ourselves and our environment, that we can kind of coexist with doing what we're good at and not pushing the other skills or trades rather, then yeah, it becomes a nice little mix. But like I feel for most of my life I was just so independent, so like when you got to rely on somebody, for me personally, it's hard, like, and that's why I think I've just offered so many resources through the last 2 or 3 years, is because I just that's all I've ever known, is to just be like doing so much. But yeah, it comes to a halt when you're like, whoa, I like overdid it. I'm like exhausted, and like I'm self-aware, but I can notice that like one thing I got to work on for sure this year, and moving forward in general, is just like before it gets to that point, like being a little more proactive than reactive, like, and that's kind of, that ties into the whole PureEvil thing of just stepping back from like the merchandise, the podcast, like it was just getting so much, and at first I didn't know what the problem was, and then I was like,
Mhm.
oh, oh, it's right square right in front of me, like, um, I should have I could have caught on to it earlier, but we're human. I don't want to give myself excuses, but at least when it happens, it's nice that I can just be able to move forward. It was really rough at first. I didn't want to stop my podcast. Like I was looking for every excuse in the bottle to continue, but I just didn't.
Mhm.
I was just kind of being like, and then yeah, it came to a point where late last year, yeah, before I even got asked about October, I was like, what do I do?
Yeah.
What do I talk about? Where do I start up again? It's been so long, and yeah, but it's nice to have like platforms like this where people can go on and express themselves, and you still are able to kind of. I don't want to say profit because that's the wrong word. It's not like you're making $1 million from you and me talking right now, but
No, no, I'm definitely not making $1 million, but I do get like we are monetized, like full disclosure, we are monetized. And so all the content that comes from it, right? We like that all goes into the bank account. Here's the thing though. We have our scholarship. And so most of that money goes into the scholarship and then one person receives it. Was that really looking out for myself? No, it was not.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
not. However, within having the scholarship and then, being able to promote that, then that generates like more conversation about donation. And so I'm proud of our scholarship and like what that is able to do. It's very small, it's not very big, but it's there. And I would love to see that grow to be a bigger number while we grow. I think that there's definitely like a lot of space for that. But I definitely was like, open up all these avenues immediately to allow people to support us. And in turn, then we'll offer more and more things. That's kind of where I was like, okay, this is where I need to like clean this shit up a little bit because is it fair? Is it fair that I get to Monday night and I'm like, oh my God, like I'm done. I'm done looking at Canva, done looking at Photoshop, like I'm done looking at editing videos, I'm done. And then have everyone expect everyone to feel the same way, you know? Like that's
right,
not fair. They have no idea how many hours or whatever all this takes. They don't care, right? And so like how do I slim it down to a couple of things? And I'm like, okay, the podcast is only on Tuesdays and if it doesn't happen then we're bumping it to the end, like there's a couple of people I'll do makeup shows for, but like other than Tuesdays, we're not talking about it, we're not dealing with it, blah blah. Calico's a separate entity and she deals with everybody all the time. Because she does her programming, and that's her thing. But like for me, I was like, I've got to hone this in a little bit because then we also have our grief circle, we also have our community chats, we also have our scholarship, we also have our harm reduction for our outdoor events, right, and our indoor events and our show and shines and this and that. Like, and we don't even talk about that stuff. Like those are just things that like I go and do and volunteer my time. Calico goes and volunteers her time. Candy goes and doesn't volunteer her time, and I'm like. So I guess I need to clean those up a little bit and also like film those pieces like, oh, okay, Sunday night, we're just packing up from blah, 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 or you can come and check us out or come check out this event. And, cause we're doing harm reduction here and create that as part of the piece. Because when people are like, why, like, what, you didn't post that at 10 a.m. Blah, blah, I'm like, man, like, don't you know all the other cool things we've been doing? Well, no, they don't. They have no idea. So that's like the part that I need to like scrub up a little bit and get people like understanding like what's happening, that it's not just the podcast. If it was just the podcast, man, like, yeah, it'd be amazing, but it's just not. There's like all this other stuff happening in the background.
yeah, you're doing a lot too. Like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness, hearing about all of that, I was like, oh, whoa, you're doing like
Yeah.
triple duty there.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Well, and then we decided like this time last year that I was going to go back to school and like learn the addiction and community service piece of it. Like what do social workers do in this instant? And since then I've gotten like my community helper certificate. I've gotten like, the regulars, the first aid and the naloxone and the nonviolent intervention training and like just all these moving pieces. And then like I'm starting my practicum at the end of this month to be a social worker. And the only reason why I decided to do that was to learn the information so that I could come on here and talk about it with my guests. And let me tell you, when I say I don't want to talk about it with my guests, it's like, I don't want to mindset like I don't want to trendy word shit anymore. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, you need to be mindful, blah, blah, blah. No, man. Like, so I almost, not that I regret going to school. I love it. And I'm so grateful for the information. I'm grateful to be able to bring that into other spaces. But I definitely don't think that the podcast is necessarily the place. Because I'm like, I don't want to psychotherapist our conversations. It's very like invasive and not the blue collar, like, but like it's just not what we started off with as. And so again, that's another thing that I'm like, how do I incorporate this without it being like boring and mind numbing and all this other crap and still be interesting without being disrespectful and like without swearing too much and all these things. So yeah, I'm rambling, but anyways, basically like I need to prune the tree a little bit and be like, this is going to go and then this is going to be more. And I feel like we're kind of teetering on what that looks like right now. So we launched our grief circles. We're going to do them once a month and they're up and running. We piloted a couple before. So this is really exciting to see. And it like went out with there was a lot of people, or not a lot, but a few people that responded really quickly. And I was like, okay, this is something that's valuable to the community. So this piece is definitely like this is gonna stay, but is there other things that we can maybe get rid of? Like, does anyone really care about the thought of the day? Because those things take me forever, and I don't think anyone really gives a shit. So I
don't know. Are you a calendar person by any chance?
Well, I am and I'm not. So I live by the Google Calendar. Like, it is my everything. It's color coordinated and Calico is even in it. And we have our Google accounts. Like we have our Pinecase account and then our personal Google accounts. And like, it's very organized and I know exactly what's happening in it. But then there's this piece of my life where I'm like, okay, today I'm going grocery shopping because last night we ran out of milk and this 4-hour thing that needs to happen is just happening in this day. Like, it doesn't really matter, like, so yeah, I could definitely like be more organized, but I am a calendar person. Yeah. Why are you? Like, how do you, because you've got a lot going on. So like, do you have like one of the big ones that you can like write in?
No, I that's why I asked, because I was like, I wonder if you're like me. I'll look ahead in the calendar and see what's going on, but like once I know a date and time, like I want to be organized, I want to know the dates, but like as soon as it's written down in my mind, I'm good. Like I don't really do any forecasting, because it's like, for me, it's day by day. Like you don't know what, even in 10 minutes from now or a minute from now, what's going to happen, So like, I try not to do too much future, but for, coordinating and planning, it makes sense. Like having the Google Calendar, especially for what you guys do, there's so much going on. So it's, and the reason I ask is because you have so much going on outside of this. Like I didn't even realize all of that, stuff. And actually, now that we're on it, I would love to, when I get a free moment or two, come out and help with the harm reduction, because that sounds really neat. That's
beautiful.
Yeah, I've done some volunteer work with giving back with food and clothing and all that stuff, but I've never done the actual harm reduction part. We've offered through the program I used to work with Higher Ground, we offer what are those kits called?
Naloxone kits.
Yes, thank you. We would carry those and offer them, but I'm not actually trained on any of that, and it wouldn't be a bad thing to have in my arsenal, and I've always kind of been curious on that side of things. So
yeah, no, we'll definitely like make that happen. It's been a while since we posted like a tutorial, but anyways, I'll run you through it and stuff like that. It's so amazing. I think everyone should have them in their first aid kit. I think that everyone, especially in Edmonton, should carry them in their glove compartment. And I could talk about naloxone like for hours. But the harm reduction piece, and it's so funny because sometimes it's so extreme and it's like you go into it and there's, naloxone is definitely the piece. And then there's other events. Decimate. We did Decimate the last 2 years. And like both times. I think last year was a little bit spicier, but the first year, I think I gave out like a Band-Aid, and we offered a safe place to like one person. I think we had 3 incident reports altogether, and none of them were serious. And it's just so funny because it's totally based on the crowd. But then because we're in those spaces, we'll get people that come from outside. And that's what we're really trying to promote, like this kind of cross-pollination that happens. Like we are a safe place no matter what. You can see us in the parking lot and you can see, you can ask for help. You don't necessarily have to be a ticket holder for that to be a thing. But yeah, we'll get you suited and booted and get you out on an event. That'd be amazing. Like, yeah, super amazing.
Hell
Thank
yeah,
you for
that would be
offering.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. And now it's really neat because we're able to, like, I've kind of commandeered some of my classmates and I'm like, you guys are all certified and have all this stuff. So I'm going to plant you at each event and then add a couple of volunteers in. And so, yeah, I guess, I mean, school's amazing. I shouldn't complain about school either. That wasn't cool of me, but I like, much like you, it's just like all these beautiful things, but it's just like, oh my God, you can't even see the beauty in some of them. Cause it's just like, I'm under them.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, navigating through for me personally, music, hockey, life, and work. It's a lot. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty fortunate though because I have a very good friend group and family, and yeah, I'm just super freaking blessed.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, and it's it's interesting because every once in a while when I'm feeling that way, like tonight, I'm like, oh, this and that. But when you look at it, when you step back, and I have to remind myself too to do that once in a while, like step back and really like look at what these things are, because we've created them over a lifetime of experience. Like we've curated this life for ourselves. Like, it is a really amazing thing. And I know for sure because I've talked to you before, and it's like when you really look back at like the accomplishments and the situations that we put ourselves into, like there is a lot of beauty in a lot of that stuff, and a privilege, in a lot of that stuff that some people don't get to experience because you're such an amazing person and you've done all of these things to put yourselves there. I guess I'm talking a little bit generally, but basically, like you wouldn't have those friends if you weren't also a great friend, like you've created these relationships and this awesomeness because you are a beautiful person and you're fucking awesome, right? And so like gotta remember to like step back and look at that and be like, oh shit, yeah. And even in the heartbreak, because there's always heartbreak and confusion and things like that, it's like there's still a good in that. That means that we like got to experience a piece of it, like still got to experience a piece of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I always look at that as the book of life of what we're writing every day. Is like, without these experiences and these things that happen to us, we wouldn't have grown or learned so much more about ourselves to be able to either avoid that in the future or, make a different decision on how you're going to navigate like a problem or whatever. So I think, yeah, a lot of that's important. And accountability, that's for me, that's always been a really big thing I've looked at in people. But now as I get older, I'm like, I need to start like looking at more of accountability within myself. I want to grow and move forward with not just the people around me and in my life, but for just myself, and it kind of ties back to, oh yeah, just doing the photography and all this stuff. It's all this stuff just kind of makes sense in my life because I've just been through so much change, like so much change, but yet still so the same. Like I'm still in the same place that we had our original phone call in, and I'm still just trying to navigate the harsh reality we call life for bills and stuff. It's hard for everybody out there right now, not just myself. Like I'm sure there's people watching that are like, I don't even know how I'm going to make it to next week, like, so perspective's been a big thing I've learned about over the years too, is just to be very happy and thankful for what I have. And that's kind of part of the reason, or not part of the reason, but like something I noticed when I'd come back from the volunteer work is like, I'd get into my place and, I'd be like, it's not no mansion, but it's a roof over my head. And just got to be thankful for what we have and what we're given every day, you know. And my dad has a great message that he tells me often that I need to hear time and time again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just he says he wakes up and he just says thank you. And yeah, I guess we just don't even realize how much we take life for granted. Um, I'm a big I'm a big advocate for, you know, embracing the moment and living the dream and wanting to have a good life. But even I get lost and confused and mixed up in my own messes and stuff that when I find myself ranting or raving about something, you know, there's a lot of people, like my best friend included. He's a good listener, like my dad,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, and my mother and that, and they'll listen and give me advice, you know, what they seem fit. And it's so important to just, yeah, realize the perspective part of things, like I said. And um I don't know where that ties into
No, the volunteer work though will it'll snap you back into reality pretty quickly. Like there is definitely, even just like in class, like we do real life scenarios, but like mocked up basically, and we have access to people who really are like out there. And it's not necessarily like unhoused. It's you know, tough relationships and PTSD and all these other things that people live with like on a daily. And just like, oh man, okay, like you get back home and it's like, oh, I was this piece of drywall that had been mudded. I mean, we moved into the house that had that, and it would take me 2 minutes to like sand it down and paint it. I probably have the paint under the stairs, like for sure. And if not, there's all this technology to color match. When I tell you that, it drives me absolutely bananas every time I look at it, and I like get upset. Like, why does that still look like that? Well, first of all, still looks like that because I haven't done anything about it. It's not anybody else's responsibility, you know, like
yeah,
you
yeah.
get on with it then.
Yeah,
You know, but there's other people near me. So I'm like, well, how come you haven't done it yet? Well, he's like, the fuck are you talking about? What drywall spot? Like, what do you mean? Like, oh, you know? But after some of those days out there, it's like, yeah, what drywall spot? Like I got a nice warm house and the fire's going, and you know, there's a couple of things left in the fridge. And shoot, if I dug deep enough, I bet you there might even be like a fancy tea bag back there, like, you know, some loose leaf tea that I like forgot that I bought or whatever. You know, it's like
yeah.
it's just not that bad. Like feels crazy sometimes. It's just not that bad. Yeah.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. And like I think for anyone that's watching, like if you're going through the adversity of it all, just especially with friends and family that know me, like don't hesitate to reach out. I might not respond right away or get back to you, you know, ASAP, but like I will respond eventually. And I feel like I got a pretty good ear for listening to people and the problems. And you know, I love to offer a listening ear at the end of the day. So if you need someone, you're not alone.
No, you're not
uh,
alone. On that note, we actually have a porn case. I don't know what the words are today. Today I was like, oh, drugs are your blah blah blah. Oh my god. We have the Pinecase warm line. It's 250-289-3948. It is ran by our beautiful volunteers. That's another space that we actually could have you help us with. AJ is the warm line. So Pinecase does have a warm line. We used to have a trap line actually, and I'm not going to say what like we used to sell from that trap line, but anyways, it was pretty wild. And then we were able to convert it into like a warm line where people can call and just chat. You know, if rehab's on the horizon or suicide's on your mind or whatever, like those are conversations that we can navigate. We have beautifully trained volunteers. I am one of the people that might be answering the phone. And there's also hashtag 988. So you can reach us at Pinecase at 250-289-3948. That's our warm line. And hashtag 988 is the suicide prevention line. It's national. I guess it would be considered international because the States does use it, although there's been tons of conversation that they won't be using it, but they still do. So yeah, Calico's got it in the comments. Thank you, darling, for putting it in there. So yeah, if you can't reach AJ, you can always let us know what city you're in and what your name is, or you don't have to say your name. You can let us know what city. We can find the resources in your community and put it back into the chat. If it's a text, that's fine. If it's a call, that's fine too. You know what, AJ, the most powerful thing that I've learned in this time going to school is something called attending. And it's like a fancy word for listening, right? It's like being available, two eyes, two shoulders, maybe your knees are pointed in their direction, whatever that looks like. So it's like body language, as well as listening, but it's attending. And if you can lock that skill in, that's 95% of psychotherapy, right? It's like that's all we need to do for each other sometimes. And that's all we need, other people to do for us. And so listening is like this amazingly powerful tool that's utilized all the time in therapy. And we need to do more of it, right? Like we won't talk about what the society needs to do, but it's definitely something that we can all exercise for ourselves and for each other. So
100%.
yeah. So you guys that are in the comments, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Tonight was a little bit different because we weren't on all the platforms, and have a little chat with Facebook once this is all said and done and see what StreamYard's got going on. Hopefully it'll be a temporary thing, but to be honest, it was kind of nice to be able to just chill out. Like it felt a little bit more exclusive tonight, and it had kind of like a closed door vibe for me. And so yeah, so thank you so much for your patience while we navigated the technical issues and things like that, and hanging out with me and shooting the shit and whatnot, and sharing all your life experiences. It's funny because there's people that come on here and they have like these wild like gang banging stories and this and that, and it's like, oh my God. And I value those a lot, but I also value just being able to hear like that I'm not alone in my day, and I'm not alone in my frustration, and I'm not alone in like how overwhelming like life can be, and how obnoxious the weather feels sometimes. And like today was particularly nice, which was nice. I really enjoyed being outside, but then it actually brought in a whole bunch of other fears of like, but if the temperature drops too much, it's going to freeze, and then we're going to have an ice rink everywhere, and then it's dangerous. And it's like, so it's been kind of an emotional roller coaster through the winter, and hopefully maybe one day I'll get used to it. But for now, it still feels very extreme to me. And so it was nice to be able to have that conversation as well. I do appreciate you.
100%. Yeah, I am very grateful to be on here, and thankful. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. All the great hosts and volunteers that help make this platform what it is. So, yeah, continue doing your thing, because I try to check in every now and again. I don't always catch every episode you got going on, but it pops up, and I'm just always so impressed and so stoked to see that you're still doing it and keeping at it.
Thank you.
It's incredible. So what you're doing is great work. So don't stop.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Well, thank you for keeping us safe in this area. I'm not, like I said, I'm not that far from you, so I appreciate that, and I'm excited too. We won't, we didn't get into the festival thing too much, but I am really excited to see where you guys are at this year, because I do plan on blowing through some of the doors of these other festivals that I've never attended. I've gotten a couple of invites this year, and I'm like, okay, I might have to do my little rounds this year and check out what's going on all over the place. Like, yeah, there's some really cool ones. So, yeah, I'm excited. Come check you guys out. I still haven't opened up my Pokemon cards.
Oh, what? You should, and then just let us know which one sticks out to you and which one's your favorite.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I was like, that's so freaking funny. I was gonna go live like a while back and like do like an unboxing and stuff, and then I never ended up doing. Yeah. Okay. You just reminded me. I'm gonna definitely go live and like do an unboxing and show everyone my amazing cards, because I'm so excited. Yeah.
You guys, when you do, because then I'll share it around too. I'll share it on all my social. I'd love to see that. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's so funny. That's interesting. Merch is so much fun, right? I love a good t-shirt. Don't get me wrong. I love a good poster, although I don't have any up right now. But the Pokemon card was such a fun idea, and it really, like, all the videos you guys made, I was like so into it. I'm like, oh my God, I was like really thick in the comment section. I was like, what's going on? This is amazing. Like, so stoked. So yeah, that was really cool. I don't know whose idea that was, but well done. Well played, you guys.
A good group, everybody puts in their thoughts. Terrence definitely forefronts a lot of the ideas and the hard work that goes into it. He's so good at reaching out to people like yourself and others to see if they're interested in products or what they're looking at, or what they're looking for rather. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think the Pokemon cards was a great idea. It's very cool, very unique, and I can't wait to push more of those out in this 2026 season that we have in front
Yeah.
of us going forward. But do you have
Very
any
exciting.
other questions for me too? Like,
You know what? I didn't really like, I guess I didn't really want to, no, I don't. I have some,
okay, okay, I like the honesty and the straightforwardness. No,
like,
AJ,
I
get
don't
the
know.
hell off my podcast already. Please
Yeah,
leave
no,
it.
it's not
Hour.
even that. It's not even that, honestly. Like, okay, I'll be real with you. Like, I love with you. There's so many things that like we can always talk about, right? Like, that's never going to be an issue. There's always space for that. But I like, where do you go after having a conversation about like real life shit? It's like, man, shit's kind of crazy sometimes. We're getting through it. I am kind of curious to know like what you do specifically when you notice that you're getting overwhelmed with stuff, like what you do to like really check in with yourself, because that can be really hard. Sorry, I just go. To check in with yourself and like what that actual process looks. But that's a really, like, I don't want to be too personal or whatever, right? And if it is just like slimming down the list of responsibilities, then like that's fine too. But I am kind of curious, like what happened? Like you were chugging along and it was just like, holy shit.
Yeah, so it was one of those reactive situations, right? Like something
Yeah.
where it was just a lot going on, and then yeah, just the train stopped because I noticed it was just too much, and
Yeah.
I really needed to like simmer down on just like personal stuff too, you know? Like I also sometimes get wrapped up in my own bullshit, as we all probably do in our own way or shape or form. But
Mhm.
yeah, and the way I take a step back. So that's essentially what I do. And that's what I did when it came to the podcast in particular, and for merch ideas. I just kind of ran out of ideas for that. And how my website is set up, it's kind of like good enough to me for like if I wanted to push more sales and do more with merch, I just would. But it's not really something I want to push for. Like the storefront looks good enough with what I have on there, in my opinion. I really want to focus on like the link I've been sending the most. I'd probably say 90% of the links that I'd share off my website from last year was the photography one. I was just trying to get my work out there, show my portfolio,
Mm.
and my prices and stuff. And yeah, I was really wanting to just start doing more of that aside from like, yeah, drumming and touring and, and being in three, like, I know drummers typically are in more than one band. Like, that's just kind of a known fact. But especially if you're like, someone who's active and keeping at it and always trying to improve, I feel like there's always grounds to have more than one band for yourself if you're a drummer. But, yeah, that became overwhelming. I thought I could just do all of these things, and have no burnout, no stresses, just young and dumb still. But no, that was not the case. I was not able to do all that. And, in turn, I had to, and financials, like the biggest thing I didn't want to come on this podcast and do is talk about the negative side of growing up, like I'm 31 now, and I know I don't really look it. It's it's so unfortunate because I try to tell myself all the time like don't give up on the dream no matter what. Like it's just it does get hard sometimes. Just the constant battle. Life itself is a constant battle, but to be putting the low amount of money that we musicians do, well, I shouldn't say a low amount of money. It's pretty much all our money that we
Every
put
single
towards,
penny. Yeah.
yeah,
Every penny.
towards our dreams is just, I guess in turn it makes us have low pennies because we're just spending and putting it's blood, sweat, and tears. Like that statement goes for a lot of these bands in the local scene here, and
Yeah.
who's going to come on top? We're all in the same rat race, but at the end of the day, it's just only some of us are going to make it so far, and during COVID, that was like a big thing for the bands that were doing it prior. Like the startup bands now, they didn't really see too much of it, obviously. But like the bands that were either starting up during 2020 or were doing a few years of like growth prior to that, it was incredibly difficult to navigate, and it lasted for so long. So to any of the bands and musicians and artists that made it through COVID, like shout out to you right now. Like that was incredibly difficult. That
Yeah.
was the hardest thing to do, you know. And again, I'm privileged and honored and blessed to be to have had the honor to tour Canada prior to COVID, because if that didn't happen, you know, I got an offering to do a States tour during COVID, but like I declined on it because I knew it was going to be really hard to navigate. And it's cool that they were able to do it and continue doing what they did. Like, good for that band. But yeah, I don't know. And there's part of me that just like reactive. Like after that happened, I was like, did I just like shut out my dreams because I couldn't afford to do it right now? And it sucks because at that time I was living with somebody else, and the bills were shared, you know, and they were taking on like a good 60 to 70% of the bills already, you know. And was I going to be the one that just like stopped helping out because I wanted to go pursue something? There's always so much more to it. And, you know, I've had a lot of supportive people and partners over the years, but at some point I've had to be like, okay, I can't do everything I want to do because it's going to affect somebody else. You know what I mean? So I always try to be considerate in that aspect. I think I'm really good at it, but then yeah, I've done a lot of reflecting since then, and even now of I think I made the right choice, but it just, you know, in the moment, and then when it passes, you're just like, did I? I don't know if you've ever had a big opportunity given to you and you've just turned it down because of something else, but it's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard, you know.
Just the other day, actually. Yeah, just the other day. And I still regret it. And I actually invested a little bit. Like I went out and bought myself some new things, some new mics that I haven't even opened yet. And I was like really excited. Like the people that I was supposed to interview were like, you know, all 3 out of 5 of them have won Junos. And um
Hmm.
yeah, it was an opportunity to talk to like a few people at once, and it would be a breakout of like my little cove here, right? And being indoors. And I was like, yeah, absolutely, I'll do it. And I literally, like, for no reason, it wasn't like I couldn't do it. I totally could. Um, I had one conversation with one person that I really respect, and it tore me up. They were like, this person isn't cool, like this person did this and this person took away this a lot of money and in bet, like it was just things that I was like, excuse me, like, and it was like, you know, directly affected the person that I cared about and was talking to, and I was like, oh my god, like this isn't that serious, this is just like a public space and a couple of conversations, you know. But the person I was talking to was like, I worked directly with them and this is what happened, and now you know, make your choice. And I was like so turned off by it. Like I was just so turned off. And is that a good reason not to work with people? For sure it is. But did I just let go of like, you know, working the room and making new connections and those things? And it was for a really good cause. Like, did I just shoot myself in the foot over something that, yeah, it's tough. That's part of the growing up piece, because like, do you trust other people's opinions as much, or do you say like, you know, screw that and go for the gold and see what happens? And then it's like, these people have made these mistakes already, like they're trying to tell me that this is a mistake, and I feel that way. Like I'm constantly, gosh, I feel like I never shut up near my kids. I'm like, oh, I did that back in the day, da da da, don't do that. And it's just like, so this person was having one of those moments with me, and it would be silly not to hear what they were saying, right?
Right.
But I regret it. I regret it for sure, because it was like these people were acknowledging me, and they were saying like, it wasn't even about Pinecase so much. It was like specific to me, and it was just such, I was, it made me feel really good to be seen like that. I was like, oh man, that's crazy, like that's really neat that they even give a shit, you know. um so yeah, it was a tough one to swallow. I still like, yeah, it's tough, you know. How to,
Yeah.
in this industry, it's like you got to spend a little bit of money to make a little bit of money, and to be put yourselves in the right, you know, the right position to be even noticed. And yeah, I did it. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this investment. Maybe not all the way. I could have done a couple other things, but it's like, now did I do that for no reason? Or should have I done more? Should have I bought these other 2 pieces of equipment and like did it the whole way? And yeah, it's just really frustrating and really hard. Um, like I said earlier in the show, like I feel for you guys, like as artists, that you have to like work and then solely invest in this situation to even make it really matter to other people or to be seen by other people, because it just shouldn't be that hard, you know, and especially nowadays with all the social media, it just shouldn't be that hard. Like it should be accessible, really accessible. And I find it like a battle all the time. Like, how do you put this much energy and money into something and then not have it go? I mean, again, the stories are different. Like, you know, we make a little bit of money over here. We have a, you know, beautiful community that donates. And so it covers, like, you know, it covers the basis and stuff. But I don't know. Yeah. Things outside of this podcast is like lately have been really challenging. And I'm like, am I putting my energy into the right things, or am I putting my finances into the right things? Like, don't really want it to blow up in my face either. So
Yeah. No, you know, we're mentioning, there was a mention of like, looking at yourself and being proud of what you're doing and everything. And I
yeah,
know I've gloated so much about you so far,
thank
but
you.
like this is honestly a awesome platform that you have going on. And I think more things like this would be nice. You know, it's the podcasting world itself is really cool. And to be honest with you, I kind of wish like if I had more storage on my device and was able to figure out a way like, because the live stream sense of this makes me want to go down this road, because so I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan myself, and I
Yeah, he's
honestly don't
amazing.
think that you can't get into knowing somebody until after about an hour and a half. And his episodes they range, they're not always consistent, but they go from on average between 2 hours to 3.5. And he's had ones that I've listened to that are 4 hours. Like I typically just do like sections. I'll just like listen to, you know, unless I'm doing like a huge route of snow removal and I'm just able to like plug and play and just like keep it going the whole time, and it's like a 4 hour site. Okay, I could get through the episode but typically it's just like sections. But what I'm getting at is I like the idea of just like picking somebody's brain for a while, because yeah, I truly don't think you can get a lot done in that hour. And that was another thing I was noticing with the podcast is like I wanted to do so much more, and I ran out of questions and I didn't know what else to ask after that. And yeah, I don't know. There's part of me that just thinks it's not really like it's cool to hop on here and engage with you and have these conversations with other people that are bringing me on, but to bring somebody on and engage with them for like 2 hours, like it's the goal. It was my goal with Apureevil for the podcasting side of things, but it's hard. Like you need to spend so much time and dedication just focusing on that, and that's not where my focus is right now, and that's not fair to the guests that I'd bring on. So
That's true. So the hour thing that I shoot for is a bit psychological, I'll admit. If I tell people we're going on for an hour, then they push out as much information as they can in that hour, thinking that
right,
that's the only hour that they get. And then I always stick around, because then I know that people like get comfortable, and then we can like tuck into some stuff, right? Like in my real life, the night is off the books. Like everyone's tucked away. There's nothing happening but this, you know? And so I don't have to
yeah,
like leave. But I figured out like if I'm like, oh, it's going to be 2 hours, I get like oh shit. Like people don't want to book it for one, because they don't have
yeah,
2 hours to donate to that, or they think they don't have 2 hours to donate, or 3 hours or whatever. But yeah, I think it's like, I mean, there's like one of the secrets. It's not, and I'm not trying to be like manipulative or anything. Obviously, I don't want to assume that everyone can stick around that long. It's like it's a large expectation, but I think you're right when it comes to like really getting into some stuff. I don't even think you really let your guard down until like an hour, really, right?
100%. I think that's when you just start to get warmed up, and that's where it gets kind of good,
Hmm.
you know. And I understand that not everybody has the power and range to do that. You know, it's not.
Hmm.
He's in a great position. He's able to do that stuff. So good for him, and good for anyone else that has that ability. But it's cool. It's cool that there's like so much range and variety out there too. Like I think a lot of that gets kind of drowned out by what's like, because I mean podcasting has just been such a big thing since like what, like 2013. Like I feel like that's where it really started to like kick off, and it's just been there's just so
Yeah.
much of it out there now. Oh my goodness, they're showing it on Netflix. Like I was
Dude, did that not trip you out?
yeah, it's weird. I don't know. Like it's cool. It's cool they're introducing that to it, but it's like I don't know. Like when I think about podcasts, I think about like going on Spotify and just listening, or like YouTube and just watching, because YouTube gives you that watchability. Spotify kind of does now. There's more options for it, but at one time it was just that way. But it is cool that they're expanding. You know, I sound like
It
a
like
fart.
no, I'm like, that's what I mean, like trip you out. Like when I seen that, I was even tripped out when I seen like people who have YouTube platforms on like having an Amazon, like a space on Amazon next to like movies. I was like, what the fuck
Yeah.
is going on? Like, what is going on? Like, good for them, dude. Get yours, Mr. Beast or whatever. Like, get yours. But like, what the hell are you doing in this space? Like, what is going on? Like, it really like trips me out because I'm like, this is so strange. Like, I'm stoked for it and it's really cool. Like that's the thing. But yeah, I think it kind of takes away from like the nicheness and like the the specialness that comes with like it being a podcast. I guess Pinecase is kind of different because we've always had video. Like we've always had video and it's always been like this platform. So I don't really know like anything outside of that. It's always been live. I don't know. Yeah, I guess like I didn't realize like how different our show, because you pre-recorded and they were in you like at your house, literally. Like yeah, that's wild that you were even like, that's a huge undertaking for one. Like I don't really want people in my space that bad.
Okay, that's fair. I find that it's a little bit like, even though the camera's on people, it's like a 2-in-1 when it's like this, because not only is the camera on me right now, but we're live. Like this is live. So if I mess up or whatever, like heaven forbid, I'll laugh at myself after. But like it's just, there's no stopping it. Where like if I do, not that I don't really like editing things out of first off, it's a lot of work.
It's so much work. Yeah.
I did it all myself, but yeah, like it's a lot of work. So taking away the live feel of that is kind of like, I found it was really nice for people to just be like, they weren't so stressed out. The only thing that I found with some guests is if they weren't familiar or comfortable around like cameras, it was kind of like it's just new reins for some people. They come into a podcast. I liked to yeah, I had it storaged, so it would go on, I would upload it to YouTube, and then I would also just do the audio section on Spotify and kind of navigate those avenues. But with yeah, like I like this flow. Like this makes me want to like do it again because I don't need to worry about storage. But then yeah, it kind of comes back to the whole, I don't know if you've had an issue with that, but like I feel like some of the people that I brought on, it might have been like a little bit more tasking to get them a little bit more comfortable to the startup. And because like they come over and like typically, like depending on the time and who I'm with, like sometimes we'd have a couple pre-drinks before the show, help the nerves. And you can tell like it was nice. Even sometimes I'd have like a drink with me while we're doing it. So it's live while we're doing it, but it's not like, yeah, it's not like this where it's like live right now. You were getting like, moment by moment what we are doing, what we're experiencing, what you're hearing, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I just for how seamless this is, and that this is just going to upload to YouTube after, I'm assuming, and you don't have to worry.
It's already on YouTube. I mean, like I'm watching it from YouTube, like down here, and so it's live. And then yeah, I can upload it again. So it's like, but even from live, I can still save it into an album, like straight from there.
Yeah.
And so StreamYard, which is an amazing product. It's nice when it goes to the Facebook thing, just because you can capture that audience in real time. Like people that are scrolling can see that you're live. So that's really helpful. But YouTube alone, I really enjoy being able to stream to them. And then with StreamYard, like they're like an external storage. So they keep that content for me up to a certain amount of hours. Like I don't pay for like a huge program. Like I have like kind of a mid-range one. Like I don't have like the big one. But anyways, so they'll keep, I think, 50 hours worth of material, which is more than enough. Like by the time I get to the end of the list, I mean, that's 50 hours, 50 episodes. That's our year, right? And then at the end of the year, I usually save like one or two and keep them at the bottom, and then I just clean them all up because I have them in so many other places, right? I've made reels out of everything. I have it on YouTube, usually in 2 locations, and so I don't feel like I need to store that anywhere else, right? And then because I edit our stuff in Canva as well, a lot of the times like the content will be over there. So yeah, I enjoy doing it this way. The reason why we went down this route though is because the podcast started when I was pregnant, and I was hiding my pregnancy from the world. Not from the world, but it was nobody's business. And so I would sit like this and no one knew, like and I was able to talk to people, and so it was just like this really awesome way to kind of like skip through some of the conversations because I hadn't it's a long story, but basically I wasn't hiding my pregnancy. I hadn't found out until I was about 20 weeks, and so until I was able to talk to people like face to face, I didn't want to announce it on Facebook, yada yada yada. I'm old school, whatever. And so it was just a way to navigate that, but also because I'm dealing with people that are often, I mean, the conversations are music and mental health, and they can go one or the other or both. It doesn't really matter. But when you're talking about people in mental health, sometimes they have agoraphobia. Sometimes they are in crisis or were in crisis like earlier in the day. And they just need that time to like regroup and sit still in their own space. It's also a safe space. I know they know that they're in their own space. And so do I feel like they're in my studio? Yes, because you are, in a sense, but it dropped a lot of barriers for a lot of people, and we were able to to televise in Europe, in Jamaica, and talk with bands that are on the East Coast and the West Coast and all of this stuff. And so it was really amazing to be able to be like, we're here and we don't really care where you are. You just got to click on this link.
Yeah, that's neat. That's neat. See, that's what's so cool about it. And even the part that you mentioned, like you can be your own kind of like content creator because you're able to make reels out of it afterwards. And yeah, all that stuff's so important and so crucial, especially in this day and age, if you want to get anywhere with your with your brand or your business or whatever. And that's the thing with music is like learning the ins and outs of it as I get older. It's like it's just, I hate to say it, but it's a business. It's not like it's fun. It's like, it's the dream in that, but like I can even hear in my tone of voice, like me describing this, like the kind of lame part about it is like, it's kind of a business at the end of the day. And like, it's cool in a sense of like, you're with your boys or, whoever, like just writing and creating content and music and doing all this stuff. But like, yeah, I don't know. I just sometimes get kind of turned off by it because it's just like, there has to be, for me personally, the fine line between like the artistic side of things and then like the money and business, and I know there can be a healthy flow of both. Bands have done it for years and been super successful, and then others not so much. But
I think the key is to like, or I don't know the key. I don't know why I'm acting like I know what the key is. What I would like to see as a consumer, like I think the key, I'd be a millionaire, like, no, I think what I would like to see as a consumer, right? Like as a consumer though, is like, I want people to utilize their social medias the same way that I got to experience a CD, like an album, like a CD in a case with artwork, the same way that I got to experience like an album, like vinyl, pulling it out of its sleeve, like, that's the experience that especially with like artistry with music. And shout out to everyone in the comments. I see you guys. Milk and Joe Entertainment, thank you for joining us. Thank you everyone for joining us. Calico, Always Lost, thank you for hanging out with us tonight in this lovely evening, hanging out with AJ Howse, a PureEvil drummer, hanging out with Always Lost. You've kind of like whittled it down to some serious professionalism on the photography and things. It's really cool to have you sitting over here. But yes, the heck was I talking about? What I would like to see, I would like to see content creator artists use their platforms in the same way that an album was an album. So I want to be able to like feel backstage a little bit, and I also want to like have a clean place to hear the music, and then have a clean place to hear like the acoustic, or a gritty place to hear the acoustic stuff, and have that experience on people's social medias the same way that that albums used to play out for us. And I think that gets missed a little bit.
Totally. Yeah, that's a positive way of looking at it too, because when people think of like social media, sometimes it's the negative side of things, and like you're posting too much, or you're you're sharing stuff that I don't necessarily agree with, or yada yada yada. And yeah, I think that's a cool little thing that I'm going to take away from this episode for sure. Is like I'm always looking at what I can do differently on my social medias and that, and
Hmm.
what I want to like be promoting and showcasing. Like I've never like been such a worrier of sorts for like the cringe part of my posts, but I've definitely as I go forward with socials and all that, I definitely want to showcase more of like a professional sense of things. And I'm glad that you're able to see that in my photography. I want to show more of that in my actual like drumming ability and in my videos and that. And um see, that's one thing I haven't been too good at, is like the actual video editing. It's the sitting down and being patient and going by it and doing that part that's like hard for me.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
it's a beast.
it's weird because it's something you kind of have to be like somewhat okay at in a band, because like either you're the guitar player or the drummer or even the vocalist. We're all. I see Cody at home playing his guitar, and Nathan, and they're just trying to make like almost like how we're doing this right now, just like either a
Hmm.
webcam or like video off their phone or whatever, and then tracking into their computer and just like making these like videos. And then I do it with like just a couple cameras like off my phone. I have a phone. I have like a spare phone that I kept from years ago that I just use for video content.
Just
And
like duct tape and Jimmy rig that shit together. Like, yeah, no, I hear you. As soon as I started like drilling into like tabletops and stuff, I knew I was like in it for real. That was the moment where I was like,
mm,
this is a real thing. I can't just go to Walmart and like buy a setup. I have to like put this shit together myself. Like, yeah.
totally. Well,
Yeah.
fortunately enough, I've avoided all of what you've just mentioned. I've never
Oh,
had to do
okay.
any drilling into my tabletops. Well, these podcast mics that I have, like
Hmm.
this one's it just I can't show because of how my
No,
setup
it's
is,
all
but
good.
like
Yeah.
basically it's just like a little clamp, and it just like you can tighten it against, like it'll just like kind of go, tighter onto whatever it's on. And I just have both on my little like patio table that I have in my kitchen, like it's just extended out right now where my computer is, where I can talk to you and have it. But there's no drilling. And then same with the the videos. I've never we've done that on tour. Terrence rigged some stuff up because the one what is it called? I forget the name of it now, but like the thing that you use to tripod. Thank you, Jesus Christ. The tripod.
Says the
The tripod.
photographer. I love that
Yeah,
so much.
exactly, right. That I have a million of them now, but like
I bet.
at that time, that tripod that we were using, it's nice and tall, but it didn't have the attachment for the phone, so he would just rig it on with tape. But like, yeah, I've never like when I shoot at home, I've always just had the actual clamp for the phone holder or whatever on the tripod and just shot from multiple angles. But even that, like I watch videos on TikTok all the time of like drum content, and if it's a one shot, like I don't know, like they say not to compare yourself, but it's kind of, you're gonna have that happen kind of like naturally. And like I compare my videos to other people's videos all the time, and people have like, I don't know where they're getting this like HD like super high definition quality for their content, but it's just like it blows mine out of the water. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, I got like I still got an iPhone 14, but it's like that thing, it can say it shoots in 4K. So like, why is my stuff not looking like that? But then you learn about lighting, then you learn
Yeah.
about angles, then you learn about this, you learn about that. It's just, there's so many things that go into
The
the video.
contrast, dude, the contrast. That dude, that does all like the crazy freestyles, and he like every time he clicks onto like a live stream, he literally looks fake. Like it's like, dude,
Mm,
I can't turn the contrast up that high because like I'm not really trying to show everybody my business, but look, but like it's amazing what like some editing will actually change for your videos is crazy. Like super
yeah.
crazy. But sometimes the content speaks for itself because I know some content creators that like I don't really care if your mic is janky and like your wife is shooting it while she's like paying attention to shit in the background if what you're doing is amazing. Like I got
Totally.
this one guy that I like, he's my go-to guy and his shit is bad. Like, it is so janked up. Like, his wife is following him around with his cell phone. It's just like, it's brutal. And he's like, I'm over here, and the wind is hitting the mic, and the things are going. And that's when the mic is hooked up. Most of the time, it's not. And he's like yelling and like whatever. But their content is just so real. And I think that's also important too, because not only should it be professional, but I don't know, man. There's times where I'm like loaded, got all my questions and answers, and I got all my videos queued up, and I got all the posters for your upcoming shows and things like that. And I go back and I watch it, and I'm like, that was the stalest piece of anything I've ever made. Like, that was boring. That was like dry and boring. And we got through it, and it was great. And our people stuck with us. But I don't know, you can feel when people like are saying what they really want to say.
Yeah. 100%.
Right? Or doing what they really want to do. It's like you get into that. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's a tough thing. I would like to see you get back into it, because the conversations that you were having were interesting to me. It was like kind of me being pretty new on the scene, the metal scene. Like, I just moved to Alberta. Wasn't really anything that and even still now, like, I don't really spend a ton of time downtown. I mean, obviously. Although I like Decimate will definitely be on the schedule this year for sure. And then there's a couple other ones, like Rock and Buddha was like, you got to come and check out like, the other festivals, and like come and hang out and see what's going on. And I'm like, okay, yeah, for sure. And the Rendezvous is always doing amazing things. And like, there's definitely like places that I could be to go and check out like more of what's happening. I don't know what the point of any of this was that I'm talking about, but like, I was new to the Edmonton metal scene, and so I don't even know what the point of that was though, really. What were we talking about? Why?
Well, you were kind of going off about like my podcast and like how it but honestly,
and that allowed me to get to know everybody a little bit. Like, that was like how I kind of poked my head in. Like, I watched all your shows actually, and was like, okay, like now I kind of know like what to expect when I meet these people in real life. And I kind of took advantage of your show a little bit when I was especially because I was going into Decimate like core team. I had no idea who any of these people were, really. I was like,
no, that's nice to hear. I mean, like, now I'm look at you. Now I'm looking at your podcast and your setup as inspiration to maybe go back into it. And who knows? Who knows what the future holds? Again, I'm a day by day kind of guy, but I could start up again and try this stream. Like, I remember you told me the first time we did this too, to try this platform, and I just was like, I thought about it and I just didn't, because of the whole live perspective. But I think it really offers a lot of cadence in a way. Like, it offers a lot of things that can help out for what I'm trying to do, like storage wise and like content wise, and it's just so many good variables other than just, I gotta worry about how much storage is on my iPhone this week before I even like bring in this guest, because like, heaven forbid, we're an hour and 4 minutes in and my phone's just like ran out of storage. Oh my goodness. Cry.
Yeah, no. The other thing too is you don't have to go live. Like, there is like you can do like local recordings. I don't use it as often. There is other content that I make once in a while. I don't know. I don't really like do much with it, but sometimes I don't know why I'm hesitating to talk about it. I used to make all this amazing content of me just like talking about like serious issues and like political things and blah, blah, and like I would just like spew it there in that space first, and then never post it. So that way I would like stay away from talking about it when I was going live, to be completely honest. And I bet you some of that shit would be pretty interesting nowadays. But yeah, I was just like, I gotta dump all this somewhere.
Headspace when you talk about that story? Sorry to interrupt you, but like, do you find that you get like my only thing is like, I've got my opinions and things too. You can ask my friends, but like I try to stay out of it for like the social part of things, like social media and like gatherings, like social like gatherings with like friends and that, because like, I don't know. First off, I find that it like kind of divides the table, obviously, if people don't agree. But secondly, it also puts me in a negative headspace, because I'm just like, I find myself always ranting about it. It doesn't even matter who's in power. I'm going to find something to rant and rave about somebody. And it's just, I don't know. It just puts me in such a negative mindset. I think that's why, for the most part, like, because I can feel like almost like my blood temperature like rising as soon as I start talking about that shit. Because it's just like, no one's going to fully agree with me, and if they do, we're both angry and stemming about something like a bunch of old grumpy men, or we've talked about so much stuff that we've divided ourselves now. And I don't know, like it's cool to hear that you've had like these experiences, like talking about stuff. But like, I guess my question to you is like, do you find that you get into like a negative headspace or like atmosphere when you do get into politically charged debates or conversations or whatever?
Yeah, I don't. Okay, so yeah, I don't actually go near them very often. For that reason, and that's why I used to use those the local recordings to dump that there so people didn't see it, because I don't think
Yeah.
necessarily, like, again, I'm just not that important, and my opinion is really not that big of a deal, right? So do I need to like push that on people? No, it really doesn't change anything. And unfortunately, like, for me, I've spent a lot of time researching these topics and understanding them, and like, even like painting the first rainbow crosswalk in my hometown, like I was right in there, like, supporting. And I will never not be interested for my own personal growth or understanding, ever interested in like political and religious things. I think for me it really like gets me going. It like really interests me, and I love it because it's human nature, right? But in that same
Yeah.
breath, like there's a lot of really ugly conversations that are also human nature that I'm interested in, and that I would never talk to people about, right? Like, I mean, yeah, like, yeah, there just is other ethical conversations that I would just are not like. So if I'm not going to talk about those, then why would I talk about these? Is kind of how I feel about it. Like, this is my opinion and it's not really anybody else's business. So I do the research for myself, but I don't, I just don't think it's appropriate, I guess is what I'm getting at. Like, it's just not appropriate. If just religion on its own, like I think that religion is fascinating. I find it really interesting that people um hold religion outside of spirituality in such a way. And so that's really neat to me. But is it appropriate for me to be like, oh, I believe in this religion and you believe in that religion, and now we have to have this conversation? No, no,
Mm-hmm.
no. Do your thing over there. I'm gonna do my thing over here. Cool,
Totally.
great. Right. Same with politics. Like, does some of it affect me in a direct way because some of the political choices that are being made directly affect healthcare, mental health care, addiction and community services? Yes. I need to know some of these things, and I should know some of these things because I need to be able to navigate them. But who I vote for or if I vote is really nobody's business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I guess
that's
that's where I
fair.
stand. Yeah.
No, that's valid, and I agree with you, and I attest to that like
Mm.
110%. And I've said this before, and it was just after COVID, like when my podcast was going and that, and I said it on there, but now I say it even more now because I see the frequency in which people are going on about stuff on Facebook and that. It's like it's just overbearing. Like these things that we were taught about mannerisms and kindness as a kid from our parents or our mothers or whoever helped raise us, um, keeping like, okay, so my point on my podcast during COVID was like keeping your distance, washing your hands, like just kind of things you learned as like a kid, and it was still getting avoided. And now I'm seeing it in the forecast of like political debates on Facebook, and it's like, and my other point for that was like, oh, when you were a kid, you were taught if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. And
Right.
it's
Yeah.
it's one thing to have a discussion with somebody, but it's another thing to be like vulgar and like hateful and just so like there's sides on both parties that I disagree with. Like
Hmm.
at the end of the
Same.
day, I just they both annoy the hell out of me. And I think the biggest thing with it is backpedaling to what we were talking about earlier. Is like they just don't seem to work as a team. Like if I was to watch a House of Commons video and see that they were like talking and they were genuinely interested and fascinated and like taking down notes mentally or physically or both
Or both.
of what
Yeah.
the opposition was telling them and saying to them and not yelling
Mhm.
and acting like freaking teenagers on television or YouTube or whatever you watch that stuff on. But yeah, if they weren't doing that stuff and they were like actually just being genuine and passionate about what's going on in our society, then I would have a different outtake on this. And I feel like a lot of people would too. But we've just we've allowed ourselves to get to this part of our brain where we just, on both sides of the spectrum, they're both bad for it. They just allow themselves to be divided by like what higher ups are saying. And like, again, I think it's the blessing of like being a drummer and being a musician in general. Like, first off, I get to hid away my problems. So like being a drummer is great because, yeah, I just get to, you know, physically be demanding and get all that rage and efforts out. But secondly, yeah, it's my escape from reality, which is just the bullshit of people having like ignorant opinions or biased opinions or whatever, you know, fake news or whatever the case might be. It just, there's so much that is blown up in our face. And yeah, I'm ranting here, but
no, because well, and so your question originally that I didn't really like answer was that do you know, like, does it change your attitude or your personality or your energy or whatever? And the answer is yes. And I think the same way that we use mantras, and I talk about it a lot on the show, it's like the same way we use mantras. I think that there's some things that we should avoid talking about, especially at length. Like, don't. My dad gave me a really great piece of advice, which was that like when we've reached peak like human, it's like no one will give a shit. And I'm like, it's like, yeah, like that's the goal, is to not give a shit in such a way that like you're doing what you're doing so well that you are being compensated in a way that you don't give a shit what anybody else is doing near you. Like, not in a way that like, oh, if somebody is like in need of food that's in front of you, that you wouldn't help them, but you're not going to notice like the things that are blowing up around you because you don't give a shit, because they don't give a shit. So people aren't impeding on you and you're not impeding on them. Like, that's peak human. And now I've learned it's actually called self-actualization. And it's like after all of your like basic needs have been met, and then you get to the next stage and the next stage and the next stage, and then up at the top, when you stop giving a shit about any of the things like politics, religion, it's like you get to, you know, you accomplish this piece that becomes like this, not careless, but a little bit more carefree and a little bit more conscious about how you know, things like speech. It's like, does this reverberate to the people near me, right? And in turn, is that what I'm going to get back, right? If I come in with this energy and this frustration and this like seriousness, like, is that what I'm putting into my space, and is that what I'm getting back out? Well, the answer is probably yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The answer is probably yes. So yeah, we don't. I mean, and nowadays everyone is. You use the word reactive a lot. It's like, I feel like that's kind of that's the norm. Like, there used to be so much heartache and so much harshness that reaction wasn't the first thing. It was like, I mean, talking about working outside, right? Like, you're outside, you got fresh air, you're dealing with the elements, you're worried about, you know, the type of socks that you have on, or how many socks you have on, or like, do you have enough water, food, this, that, whatever, right? Like, those are what your concerns are. So when somebody asks you something, like, you're not going to be reactive in the same way, because not only are you thinking about these things, but you're also like tired, like, you know, because you're dealing with all these things. So you're like, your action isn't going to be to engage in this whole thing of like feeling sorry for yourself. Like, you're already in the thick of it, right? Like, right now, I ask people questions and they're like, I'm dying, I'm exhausted, and it's just like, what? Like, it's not even what the fuck we were talking about. Like, you know, like, oh my God, this person did this and this. Is just like, but did they actually? And then you kind of see them like go back through their mind, like, okay, well, maybe today like wasn't that extreme. And it's not one person, it's like a lot of people that I interact with. I'm like, man, that must be exhausting. I don't work in that frequency. I just don't know. You know, curated this like beautiful little life, and like there is definitely, like we talked earlier, it's like there is real shit that's happening all the time. I mean, groceries are expensive, like life is really tough right now, and it is cold outside, and it's like when I cancel a podcast because I have no power, people are like, what, that's ridiculous. I'm like, no, it's not ridiculous. It's been minus 45 for the last 3 days. Like,
yeah,
sorry, you're not really my first concern. My concern is keeping my house warm, you know?
100%. Yeah, you give me the vibe that you're very similar in the way of like caring and wanting to do extra for people, but then yeah, it's a reaction state to just be like, whoa. Well, sometimes, anyways, you're probably pretty good at like picking up on like when it's getting too much, like before it gets to that point. You know what I mean? Like being proactive about it.
Mhm.
That's what I'm trying to work towards. Like I want to be more proactive in the way I do things and way live my life. You know, I don't want to be so like being reactive is so annoying because it's like that's what I rant and rave about my job. Like it feels like sometimes they're reactive there, but maybe it's the case of just like me being reactive or like, you know, there's so
Mhm.
many different variables, so many different sides, and I just if I want to see change in that, like I have to start doing it myself too. So accountability and just like
Yeah.
being proactive over and above everything else. Because if you can kind of mitigate problems or you know steer around them as best as one can, then what else can you really ask for? Like
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer of just like really wanting and striving for the best and you know, but then even at that, just being okay with what you have and just kind of just trying to be seamlessly, I don't know, how do I put it? Seamlessly just not giving up, but just being so passionate and involved that you're giving back, but not too much. And it's
Mhm.
a happy medium. You know, I got a yin and yang tattoo on me, and moderation's always been important to me. And it's just it's as I get older, I'm having to navigate what I find is important to me, and what I find is balance, and what I find is good to me. You know, instead of what other people see in me or what others think or feel about me. You know, and I've already got that
Oh
mindset
yeah.
in me. Why do I need to fucking stress about that so much? I used to stress about that so much. Like I've already got that. Why the
No.
fuck do I care what Tim thinks of me?
Oh yeah, no. What other people think of me is not my fucking problem. Period.
Right.
That's like not even remotely like on this. But that was really hard to come to, right?
Yeah.
And like prioritizing myself. Like my teacher actually, I have a beautiful instructor for the program that I'm in, and the first thing she taught me was do not be a yes person. Like
Right.
do not. And I was like, whatever. You work in public service. Like, what do you mean don't be a yes person? She's like, don't. like
Yeah.
the beginning, like take the holidays, book them off, take the holidays, don't feel bad. They don't
Oh.
give a shit, you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but for
Exactly.
real, like for real. And it's funny that you mentioned that because you're like, oh, they gave me this time off and they didn't ask for like a couple of days less. Like that was literally like every time we go for break and we just talk like, whatever, those are like the tidbits that she's giving to me. She's like, take the time, do the thing, and don't care. Don't worry about what anybody's opinion is, because it's just that it actually doesn't affect like what you're doing or what you're trying to accomplish. And like if that couple of days that you take off or whatever allows you to then go on for the next few months to like be a stable person, like again, there is that exchange, there's that quantity, right? That economical exchange, like for yourself but also for the business and for the community at large. I mean, what's more important, you being aware of like when you need a break, right? Or you not being completely available at all because you've totally checked out. I mean, yeah, it's a small thing for the community to be like, oh, I guess he needs a couple of days off. That's not a big deal in the
Yeah.
big thing. Like, and it's not for anybody to tell you how to do that. Like, it's just not.
100% preach.
Well, it's frustrating because a lot of the times, especially like we're in this weird place because we're coming out of youth, right? Youth where everything we've done is based off of like the audience of like people being around us, watching us doing things, and like this exchange of like if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, then the reaction is going to be positive, and then that means that I'm good to go, and then I proceed.
Right.
And then right? And then as you become an adult, the adult part is like you need to be you need to tailor that experience now around what works for you, because the only person that's looking out for you is you, and if you don't do that, nobody else is going to. And so
Yeah.
trying to get from that to that is really uncomfortable, right? I hear it all the time when people, like when they pick up the phone talking to their grandma and they immediately go to like, hi grandma, how's it? It's like, that's so funny. Like we're still caught in that space, and if you have the same friends as you had when you were younger, and you're trying to have that conversation now, 20s being younger, if you're 30, right? Like they have a certain expectation of you, and they expect you to deliver that person that you were. Like
Right.
you don't get to be less or more. You deliver. That's who we know you to be. But the reality is that like that's well, you'll end up blowing your brains out, right? Like you have to, I'm
Yeah.
being honest. Like I'm being
Yeah.
honest. Like you have to form I hate using the word selfish because it comes across as kind of crude, but the reality is that like when you're able to speak on behalf of yourself and make choices for yourself that better your mental health, that better your health, that keep you above water, then you get to be the best person for those people. So it doesn't look the same, right? It used to be showing up for people and now it's showing up for yourself. And in turn, then you get to be there for people. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable. And people don't like it, especially like, oh gosh, the honeymoon phase is the thing that I think that was challenging for me because I was separated and then got into another relationship. And so, once the honeymoon phase is gone, and reality sets in, like, was I that person that they needed to be? Was I that person that I needed to be so that they would be like, that they would like me? And I guess you could apply that to any relationship. It doesn't have to be like spousal, right? But for me, that's what it was because I became this really cool chick that could hang out in the shop and pull wrenches and yada, 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 because that's who I knew he wanted me to be. So that's who I was. And that's not far from who I really was because I was doing that shit anyways. I grew up with people that were doing that anyway. But is that what makes me happy? No. I mean, I'll do it and it's super fun and I'll crack a beer and hang out. That's not a big deal. But if I really wanted to value my time, or to have value in my time, it would be near my horses or be near horses. I didn't own any at that point. So how do I get there? And how do I convince the people around me that like I'm still available for them? But instead of spending 3 hours outside in the garage, that I'm going to spend that 3 hours at the horses with myself. Because that looks really shitty. It looks very selfish. But because I get to do that thing, then we get to come back and be cool, right? Like now I have something to tell you about. Now I have something to, we didn't just spend that 3 hours together. We don't know what just happened. It's exciting. We get to talk about this thing, but it's uncomfortable to get there and to advocate for yourself in that way. Especially it's something that I struggled with. Once I hit that part, I was like, this might be close to self-actualization. This might be like what pure happiness feels like when you can be like, yes, no, and not be a yes, maybe, or a yes, but person or a yes person or whatever. Right. It's like, no, thank you. No, thank you. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's a good part you just added in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the navigating through life and growing up and learning, and depending on what you do with your experiences, how the rest of your life is going to unfold, really, and yeah, we are just trying our best as people, as a civilization. We are just trying to get by the best way we know how. And I would love to see people just work together hand in hand more than just being conquered and divided. I don't know, like even if you were to win at the end of the day, like what did you gain? What did you gain at the end of that? Wouldn't you rather like be united than like against each other? And so I just want to leave with that message. If at the end of all of this, like I just want to leave with that message. Just remember what you're gonna say before you say it, and just think about it, because it could affect somebody else for the rest of their life, and in a positive way or a bad way. So just try to be good. And if you can't get close to that, well, at least try. I don't know.
Yeah. If you don't have anything nice to say, then don't say nothing at all. It's an easy one. And wash your hands.
Yeah.
Like, wash your
stay out of
hands.
each other's bubbles, like we had a personal bubble growing up, like everybody, that's not saying you had to stand 10 feet away from one another, but that's like, don't get up in your personal business, man. Like keep your distance. I don't know if you watch UFC at all, but there's this one funny skit between a guy named Chael Sonnen and this other guy, and he's like, I can't let you get close, and he pushes him off him, and he's like about to like scrap with him, and it's like, okay. I always think of that quote of like who people who are getting like, because some people, they like to talk right square to your face, and I always want to be like, I can't let you get close. But I'm just not a fighter. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just simple rules that I like, in my opinion, would just save so much trouble, so much time, so much countless things that are just not important, like, yeah, we were given these rules for a reason, and they weren't bad. Why do we have to kind of like not oblige by them? It's so much easier to just follow some things. I'm not saying it has to follow to a T, but I don't know, like not working together really bothers me. I do stress that a lot, even at my work, or like I'd rather just people be united. I just hate seeing a divide, and I know things can't be perfect, and I know there's always going to be conflict, but it's how you deal with that conflict that makes you who you are, and how you want to see other people as well. So as you mentioned, like you want to see the best in yourself, and you want to see the best in others. Like that's what we really should be pushing towards as a society as a whole. Like, if you want to see other people doing well, like, you should be trying to do well for yourself as well, bro. Like, that's at the end of the day, like, we should all want a little bit of something that's good for ourselves, even if it's just a cinnamon bun from Cinzio. Oh my goodness.
So
Go for
good.
one right now.
So good. Don't give everything I always notice the people that are like almost like subservient, and then they go back to like their shack, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, ask for more, take more,
Yeah.
more from the situation, like you don't have to like abuse people, but if you I don't know, and like be considerate. And also, I guess maybe like one of the things that like I found a lot of value in lately is like learning the true definition between empathetic and sympathetic. That really changed like how I treated people, because if we would let go of sympathy and lean into empathy, that's the key, right? Like that is actually the key.
100%.
It's like, stop feeling sorry for people, but like start understanding that you do or don't understand people, right? Like you don't have to understand everybody.
No.
But like be more aware of like what that may look like, right?
Totally. And understanding. It's just
Yeah.
that might be not your cup of tea, but that's okay. That's somebody else's. And like, as long as it's not ignorant or hateful or hurting somebody, like, okay, then like that's their thing, and yeah, like you do notice that a lot in the music scene too, because like you'll there's so many people that are online preaching about support and love and all this stuff, but then you see them at shows and like they're just so negative sometimes. And I don't know, like I'm very fortunate enough to say that I'm surrounded by some great people, great musicians, great friends, great family, and like I always hate bringing it up, because I like bringing it up, but I hate bringing it up because it's like it's a double-edged sword. Like, I feel like I'm bragging, and other people are like, they've always told me, no, it's all good. Like, I'm happy for you, but I'm just like, I want that for everybody. I want everybody to just have like a safe and warm place that they can go and feel welcomed. At the end of the day, that's like the most important. That's the most important to have, is just like a nice, safe space to be like expressive, safe, welcomed, all these things.
Welcomed.
Happy.
Yeah.
Love.
It's funny because we're kind of taught not to brag about those things because it doesn't hold space for the people that don't have them. However, I do think that we should brag about it and talk about it more, because it shows people that those spaces still exist, and that like you can have those things. And actually, it's not that complicated. Of course, I'm not part of the LGBTQ community, although I am an ally. I'm not like full black. I guess I'm half, so call that what you want. I guess, yeah. And I have all my appendages, so there's that. And I'm not First Nations, but then like maybe that's not a thing. You see what I'm saying? What I'm getting at here? Like, I don't know what it feels like to be those things, although I am those things, right? But if we can talk about the things that we do have in our life that are positive, like it creates more conversation around it. And I still think that even if it creates like negative conversation for some people, I still think that it creates positive conversation, and that's also the goal, right? I think that people should be allowed to brag about the good things that they have. They don't have to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G to be able to say those things. I think that everybody should be able to say those things. I think everyone should be able to brag and have fun and enjoy each other. And no, not everybody has everything, and not everybody has what they need, and I understand that. But I don't think that should put a cap on people wanting to talk about the things that are good. And I think that in society right now, we're kind of teetering on that a little bit. It's like, well, not everybody has these things successfully, so we shouldn't be able to talk about them. And I understand why it would feel like that. However, if we don't talk about what it can look like, then how the heck do we ever get there, right? If it's only negative that we're talking about, then we're never going to accomplish the positive thing. Right?
Yeah,
have to talk about the food things. I was told not to post photos of food on social media the other day. Don't post food. Not everybody has food. I'm like, well, if they don't have food, they should talk about not having food on my food post. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like, hey, that looks awesome. Haven't eaten in 3 days. Guess what? We're going to find someone in the community to go and make sure you have food. I mean, one of our community members bought freaking pizza for a guy in the flipping Yukon. Like,
Mhm.
actually, right? He was like, hey, if I never posted the picture about the food, he would never have had the goal to be like, hey, fuck you and your food, you know? What the
Yeah,
hell? I don't have food. And I'm like, oh shit, that's crazy. Okay, well, I don't have a ton of cash right now, but let's see what we can sort out, right? Like that
totally.
conversation created enough conversation for someone to be like, put it on my credit card. Like, what's the closest? And it was crazy. We were like looking at pizza places in the freaking Yukon, and I'm like, I don't even know. Is there like Little Caesars? I don't know, whatever. And it was like fun. And then Buddy got his food and we got to feel good about ourselves. And a bunch of us got to have this like wild conversation about looking in the yellow pages, which we haven't done in forever. So I think there's like, right?
That's awesome. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes with like not that particular situation is so much it, but like the good
Mhm.
with the bad. Like you kind of have to have a little bit of negative and bad in order to showcase like what good can be, you know?
Mhm.
And yeah, like I'm not saying that your situation with posting the food is bad because yeah, I don't see anything bad or hindering about that at all, but I don't know. I feel like Facebook's team is probably pretty particular too. And with this day and age, social media is so like it's getting to the point where it's like it's kind of closed off. You have to be very careful in particular about
Mhm.
with what you say, with what you post, and how it's all and that's the thing is like if something or somebody was to say or post something ignorant, it's like I feel like we can come at it at a different response too. We could be like, okay, I don't know if you're trying to be ignorant about this, but this is how I see it, or like this is how I would word it, maybe. And I think that maybe you were trying to come along those lines, but it didn't really come off that way. What do you
Mhm.
think? It's engaging. You can be engaging that way, but I don't see any of that. In fact, I see quite the opposite, and it goes back to my point of just like the politics of Facebook, not even just the politics of political stuff, just the politics of Facebook in general. It's overwhelming. I took a month off social media in November, and it was like the best month of my life. And now that
Yeah.
I have it all back, I find myself on my phone constantly, and it's uh, just you should just take another break again because it's nice to get off your phone. I feel like we're getting just so engaged in this whole thing that we need to look like or be like or talk like. And I remember growing up when you were watching movies and reading magazines about like wanting to be that model, and they were trying to kind of like it was getting to the point where in the early 2000s they wanted to step away from that because they were like, we want you to be happy in your own skin and in your own comfortability. And then it got to a point where people were getting like maybe a little bit too like obese, like not a healthy level of like being comfortable in your own skin. And I don't know, it's just and then heaven forbid you try to say something to somebody to like push them to be better for themselves, it comes off as hateful or rude or spiteful. And again, it kind of is dependent on how you word it, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like we're getting to this point where we're getting closed off. We can't have these
Mhm.
healthy conversations because nobody knows how to have them. Quite frankly, nobody knows how to engage in a healthy way of being stating your point, but not in a negative essence, if you will. Like kind of just being straightforward, but not rude and an asshole, but also not getting that point taken the wrong way. And
That's okay. Sorry. I was like, yeah, I guess the delivery is like a thing, but we almost need to stop worrying about the delivery and like allow
mm-hmm.
people to stop being so reactive, right? It's like the delivery shouldn't really matter. I mean, although obviously, like you can say a few words in a couple different ways, but it's like if we worked
Yeah.
on how us as a society are reacting to the delivery, like stop reacting. Like,
Yeah.
what was the reason? Oh, that pissed me off. Well, what was the reason behind the comment you just said? Like, I miss being able to be like, yo, what are you wearing? You look crazy right now. Like, you can't even say crazy anymore. You can't even be like,
Yeah.
what are you wearing? Or did you call me fat? Blah, 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 blah. It's the wrong, like all that stuff. And I'm like, whoa, okay, hold on. Like, and then we started doing this thing where we like hesitate. And I notice it a lot, especially on the podcast, because like people are like constantly trying to find the words to say the thing without being offensive. And I'm like, why are we worried about what we're saying? How people choose to take that information is really not our responsibility. Unfortunately, it is because that's what social media says. And that's what everyone's like, well, it's your platform, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is like, take the information however the hell you want. It doesn't really matter, right? Like, it shouldn't really matter. Not like, sorry, I just stole that from you, but it's just like, does it actually matter? Like,
Yeah.
maybe the comments aren't like the thing. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's like, make the thing, put it out there, and like let it do its thing. Because it's like, does it actually matter how people take what we say? Especially if you're not, I mean, you're not a racist or a bigot or whatever. It's like, why do people concern themselves so much with it? Why do we concern ourselves so much with it? And why do we give a shit about what other people are doing, or how skinny or whatever you're supposed to be?
Yeah. I think it goes back to a bandwagon effect. We don't want to be solo anymore. And I've known a lot of my life to be a lone wolf. So I guess I see the other side of things sometimes when people are just kind of either jumping ship or being part of a bandwagon. Like, I've always just been super inspired by my grandma, who, has been just by herself since she was like in her mid 60s. And, she's 92 now. She just turned 92 a couple months ago. And, yeah, incredible stuff, right? And she, just as a person, has just always inspired me to be like like I said, like kind of like a lone wolf, but like also like a motivator to just like push forward, a leader in our own sense, for maybe not others so much, but for ourselves too. Like, finding the nice line between like command and conquer, but not so much conquering, just taking lead and knowing when to back off, or knowing when to continue pushing forward. And I just, I wish, like, it kind of goes to your point of I wish we didn't have to worry so much, or feel that we had to worry about what we had to post or say on Facebook without it being a goddamn disaster.
Because it is
bad.
It is like, ooh, I've navigated a lot of wild things, and I refuse to talk about like my personal life. It's why I didn't really talk about my pregnancy. I refuse to talk about people in my personal life. It's not really anybody's business who I choose to lay near or whatever. Like, and so I stay away from all of that. And same with my guests. I don't like push on like who and the what's and whatever, because that's just not my business. I don't really care. But it's like, why? Yeah, I get, maybe this is back to what my dad was trying to say, is like the ultimate, being of humanity is just not giving a shit. Like, when we've hit that and we're in it for like the pure joy of entertainment, or the pure joy of just doing the thing, then those other things just don't really matter anymore. And if we're not worried about what people think our intention is, then it just doesn't really matter anymore. I shouldn't be worried about what people think my intention is. I know what my intention is. Right? Which is, but I'm a kind person, and maybe that's why I am not I don't concern myself so much, because I guess like if I had a skeleton in my closet, then like you, like, if you're a kind person, then why do we concern ourselves with how other people feel about what we do if we know what our intention is? And that's where like we have the politically correct thing to blame, because everyone is so worried about PC and this thing, like, well, you can't say that and we can't do that. That has actually changed completely normal people who are kind by nature and empathetic by nature into people who second guess their behavior. And that's a tragedy.
That's interesting. That's an interesting way of putting it. Yeah, you could know deep down in your heart and soul that you're good, you're caring and all that. But if you had a difference in opinion, you could be cast aside because not everyone feels or looks that same way about it. And then they'll I don't know. It goes back to our original conversation, teamwork too. Like, we're just, heaven forbid, one of us have a slightly different opinion than the other. It's just, how do we navigate it? Like, how do we make it work? Like, can we just like put our heads together? And I think that's another thing that happens with society too, is we're just so easy and able to just get rid of things and just, and it doesn't help that it's pushed in our face, quite frankly. Like, here's the next new thing, and that kind of goes back to like how the 90s was too, because it was like, I remember they would do that with marketing. Like, you'd see product placements in movies a lot, and they were like kind of trying to stray away from that in like the 2010s to 2020. Like, it was kind of like they were trying to navigate a different way about that. But then it's like they do a different way of doing it. Oh, now social media is the new start of like product placement, and you can get away with putting in ads. And look at freaking YouTube. Like, why do I got to pay for YouTube? It's a free service at one point. We could probably find a way to not run ads and still make YouTube get profit. But everybody just wanted to make more money. Everybody just wanted to have more things. Everybody just wanted to. We just forgot about the essence of life, which is just having what you have and enjoying what you have, and working towards bigger and better things, but just not forgetting that we have what we have. And yeah, I don't know.
Well, and that's the frustration, right? Because it's like, people that have ads on their content, then they are making more money off of their content, and then they spend more money to push their content forward, which means their content gets played before the smaller people's content. So it's like, I was watching this show the other day on YouTube, and I was like, there's more ads on this one video than there ever was in the 90s on cable television. Like, I was sitting there was one that was like 9 minutes long, and I was like, what the hell is happening right now? Like, what is going on? Like, and yeah, you could click it off after like whatever, a minute or something like that, but it's like 9 minutes. Like, there's a whole music video in the middle of this music video. Like,
yeah, it's insane.
It's sad. It is insane. It's like sad because we don't have anything sacred anymore. There's nothing sacred, but we have moved off of like rip torrents and shit like that. So I don't know. Like, I don't worry about like viruses from LimeWire and things like that. See, here you go. Like, this is how easily it is to go down that like crazy rabbit hole of being like, I'm grateful, but I'm like, I wish it was this, and like, but I'm appreciative, but why isn't it like this? It's like, it's really, really wild how we've been like conditioned to think that way, because realistically, there was a time when my music and entertainment solely came from like a group of people that sat in a circle that would hacky sack, and like, there was maybe like not even a full drum kit, and like somebody's like mashed up old acoustic, and I used to like pretend to play the spoons or whatever, and we'd all sing Sublime. And that was literally the whole, and the one dude with the white dreads who had no business with them playing the one bongo drum that was like the holy grail of like the whole friend group. Like, that it was just amazing, and it's like, that was the epitome of my entertainment, and I was totally fine with that. I was so filled with that. That was totally fine.
Yeah.
And now I'm meant to believe that I need to have all these premium services, and I need to have access on my phone all the time. And the other day I was watching reels on my phone and TV on my TV at the same time.
Yeah, no, I've definitely been in that loop, watching some hockey and then just like on my phone, and then I was just folding laundry. Like, what am I doing? Like, what is going on? And yeah, it kind of goes to your comment about being conditioned, that I don't want to give things excuses, because we are ourselves to blame, and we can make the change if we really strive and want to. But in a way, it makes sense why we do those things, because that's just what we've been conditioned to do, what we've been raised around. And even if it's not being raised around, like, just having it shoved in your face, like, it is just the new norm, is to just be on your device like all the time. And yeah, it sucks, because that's one thing that I really want to just try and do differently. But you really got to just do it, like, you just got to like delete the apps. You can still have your accounts in that, but like, just delete the app, so you just like get off it like way more. And like, I was going on like Safari version of Facebook, and let me tell you,
that'll make you stay off for sure. That's that's super funny. There is some cool, so our friend Tim Steinruck, he created this system called the Blissciplines, and it actually, like, in the Blisscipline book, it has like a really intentional, like, put your phone down. Okay, you've done that. Okay, now go and do like your breath work or whatever. And I'm like, oh, that's so interesting that it's like written down in a list of things that, like, here is how you reset your vibration for the day, or here's how you reset your how you be more mindful about, like, how your day is going to go, or whatever. And it's like, in that list of things to do is literally like, put your phone down for a bit. Like, we actually have to remind ourselves and each other, like, that's how, like, in the thick of it, like, we actually are. The minute that they made 15-second reels, I knew we were out, like, the game over. game over, man.
Yeah, yeah, totally. It's just more
Yeah.
brain rot that we just don't need, but we're just continue doing it and continue watching it and being engaged, and it's just gonna keep happening until there's a push and pull effect, and then eventually, I don't know, there's gonna be a new thing again. But remember fidget spinners? I know this is kind of a side note,
Of course
but
I
like,
remember spinning. I got kids. Like, yeah, of course I remember fidget spinners.
yeah, there you go, exactly.
Yeah.
Like that was a thing at one
Mm-hmm.
point. But yeah,
That's
I mean,
amazing. No, like that like that's amazing to think about. Yeah, before like the doom scroll, there was actual fidget spinners where people would like trade them and like look out for different ones, and like that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Like bring back the art of entertainment in the idea of it actually being entertainment, right? Like that's a therapy in itself, and I advocate for it every single day. I think music and mental health go together the same way that entertainment can actually be therapeutic. And if that looks like sleeping on the couch and like, watching documentary, like that's it. That's okay if it's bringing you like peace of mind or whatever. But
yeah,
bring back the true art of entertainment and do away with this piece that we're in right now. I could live in a world like that, but I could also live in like a utopia too. Let's like ride my horses and like pick, vegetables out of the
totally,
garden and stuff. So yeah.
totally.
Wild. Well, thank you for indulging me in that question. I do appreciate it. It was a really beautiful second part to that conversation. Yeah. No more hashtag bring back the fidget spinners, but even then it's got to be a hashtag, right? Like, so funny. Wild.
Let's push for it. Let's bring those back. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about those things personally, but like I just remember they were a thing.
I'm still trying to bring back like pogs. Like you're probably too young for those, but like I'm down with the pogs. Like that's fine too. Like that's cool. Pogs or whatever.
Were those
really.
those robot dogs? Is that what those were?
No, pogs were these like little cardboard like medallions, and you would, some of them would have like cartoon characters on them or whatever, or like weird designs. Some would be like holographic, and they're like you could trade them and stuff, and you could get like big packages of them, like multi-packs, and like a package of like a series. And then you had these things called slammers, and they were like these metal medallions that were heavier. And the game of pogs is actually really stupid. It doesn't make any sense, and I don't know if I ever played it properly, because the way I played it, like I can't understand why that would be a game. But basically you would like stack these pogs on top of each other, and then you'd use the slammer and slam it down, and then they would like go all over the place, and then you'd collect them all up. So you would end up with like some of your friends and stuff like that, and whoever. Yeah, pogs were awesome. Yeah, pogs were awesome. But it was like, I don't know if that's how you're supposed to play it. Like we used to stack them, and then we'd be so choked when like somebody's shitty little kid would like end up with all of our pogs because they had like a heavy slammer, and then they'd take off our pogs. I remember crying to my dad actually and being like, Tyler got all my pogs that I just got. They come in these like cylinders and so I don't know. But like, is that even how you played the game? Like, I don't even think it probably was, but yeah. If you were in a child of the like I was like a true child of the 90s, right? I was born in the 1900s, according to some people. Have you heard that?
I've heard of that statement before, yeah, but yeah. See, I was 1994, so I was too young to actually say I lived in the 90s. So
okay. Yeah, I was a little bit before that. I was definitely an 80s baby, but yeah, I don't know. The whole thing is just it's that little bit of like pure entertainment that didn't have to come from anything else, but just being in a space with friends. I think playing cards is another really important one, or like dice, like something that is genuinely interactive, because the game doesn't really matter, right? It's like what it does. The entertainment brings a conversation, which brings, camaraderie, and then, I got to get you next time and stuff. I think that is single-handedly a massive cure for a lot of like mental health situations that I see people dealing with all the time. I'm like, get outside, go play some dice with some crazy old lady, and act, because that will cure just about anything. Like,
yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, I'm gonna remind everybody one more time where they can get a hold of us and find some naloxone. The naloxone kits that we were talking about earlier, they're actually available like to everybody. They're free. You can go to any pharmacy. Shoppers is a really good place. Ask for a few of them, especially in this weather, just because sometimes you'll need 2 or 3 4, 5 on one person who's overdosing from opiates. It doesn't actually have an effect on any other drug other than opiates. So it's really important to know that if you're not getting them back, to keep trying. But if nothing is happening, you need to like move on to the next conversation. So next conversation, that sounds terrible. But what I'm trying to say, if you see somebody that needs some help, you call 911 first, and then you use the naloxone. If there's alcohol, if they're pregnant, if it's a stimulant, it's actually not going to have any negative effect. So it's only going to be a positive effect for the opiates. And yeah, ask for more than one kit because you might have to use one. You can't overdose on naloxone. So if you have to use 1, 2, 3, 4 kits, that's okay. The stuff out there right now is really strong, and it's not gonna have a negative effect. Well, and I mean, the negative effect could be death. So at this point, just like use as many as you need, right? Like that's the reality of it. But yeah, go ahead and go to your pharmacy and ask for a couple of naloxone kits. If you guys need help learning how to use them, you want a tutorial, a quick walkthrough, whichever, I'm available on video chat. We do have a video on YouTube. I'll have to go and look for it. But anyways, you can reach out to us. Calico is amazing as well. She's always in the community group and does tutorials as well. They're pretty easy to use, but if you're feeling intimidated, which it can absolutely be, some of the kits have needles in them, then please don't hesitate to ask. You can always reach us on our warm line. Pinecase does have a warm line. It's 250-289-3948. It is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's run by our beautiful volunteers who have nonviolent intervention training. They have the naloxone training. They have first aid. So they're there. 250-289-3948. You guys can text in or call that. If you just want to text in, that's fine. You don't have to do the whole phone conversation, although we are available. You can text us your location and we'll get the resources from your city. And we'll make sure that ends up back into the conversation. So when you do leave the conversation, you have a next step, and then we go ahead and check on you in a little while. Hashtag 998 is the suicide prevention line. It is free and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week as well. So that's hashtag 988. Oh my gosh. Seriously, AJ Howse, Apureevil, drummer of Always Lost. You've been around. You do the photography. We see you here. We see you there. I just adore you. I already knew, because going into this, I was like, we had this beautiful conversation the last time, and some things just feel more comfortable than others. And you were definitely one of those people that I totally enjoy sitting across from. So thank you for donating your time to all of our causes. We went through all the list earlier, but basically I understand that you're not out here doing gigs for free, and we take your time here as a charitable donation towards our Pinecase scholarship, which is awarded once a year to a lovely recipient who uses music to support their mental health in their educational journey. So you guys can go ahead and check that out if you'd like to. I'll throw the link in the description. AJ, darling, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. Seriously.
Of course.
Yeah.
Hey, and the pleasure is all mine. Thank you for having me. I really just a huge fan of what you guys got going on here, and shout out to Calico for reaching out and getting this all set up. Really appreciate you too, and yeah, it's always an honor and a blessing. I really do appreciate you sharing your time and your company. So thank you. Thanks for having me, and keep doing your thing. Please do not stop. I know I've said it a gadillion times on this fucking podcast, but I really do mean it. Like you guys got a good thing going on here, and I love seeing. I love chiming into your videos every now and again. I'm like, oh yeah, I see the progress, and I'm a huge supporter, huge advocate. So keep it going.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. You guys in the comment section, you guys take care of each other, stay safe, and we will see you.
Please stay strong. The further you take my rights away, I'ma run to it, refuse to hear my voice. Speak loud when I spit it, but you don't get it. You just wanna be a side critic. See somebody else showing hate in the side of the road with it. Now how would you feel standing on the sideline and watch the color of a nation deteriorate over time? The flag real high, but compassion 6 feet below. Now you're searching for that justice that decided to never show. Deny my place and back with a trace. Keep up the pace, tight lace, game face. Get back in the race. Whatever they did could never be undone. Every dark night ends with the rising of the sun. Squandered every wealth that's built from the mud. Squandered every wealth that's built from the blood. Squandered every wealth that's built in chains. Stolen from the ancestors, running through my veins. With the strength of 1,000 lion and the strength of 1,000 giant. Please stay strong. Please stay strong. With the strength of 1,000 elephant and the strength of 1,000 tiger, we stay strong. We stay strong. We stay strong. I can see. Run to the light at the end of the tunnel when we stay strong. I can't breathe. We're gonna get oxygen without the justice system. We stay strong. And I know, gotta keep my head together. We stay strong. Don't doubt me, please don't doubt me. We stay strong. Tell me how can we be strong if we still shooting? Tell me how can we be strong if we still looting? Tell me how can we be strong if we still hating? Please tell me now.